Ernie. Hey, you're a cookie.
A brand new Keebler cookie named E.L. Fudge. That's E as in everybody, L as in loves, fudge.
Pleased to meet you.
Rich, buttery shortbread cookies shaped like an elf, then dipped in smooth, creamy fudge. Everybody's gonna love E.L. Fudge.
I never met an elf with cookie I didn't like.
That's E as in everybody, L as in loves, fudge. New E.L. Fudge cookies from Keebler. You'll love them.
At this very moment, where the morning is replacing the night, a woman is performing the ritual that holds a secret of youth. She starts with one shimmering drop. Ever so quickly, the ritual replenishes youthful fluids, greaselessly easing away dryness. Her day begins with a silkier, younger look. The ritual of oil of Olay, fluid or cream. It can help keep you looking younger, too.
Feel the changing vision with your eyes. Push hard enough to bend, not enough to break. Spirit burning cool, it's an easy give and take. It's a new attitude. Easy going cool. Easy going cool, it's a whole new attitude. Easy going cool. Easy going cool.
Mom, how does Clarence get his popcorn so light and fluffy?
It's a secret. Love that aroma.
But Mom, how does Planters get its popcorn so fluffy and light?
Well, dear, they use only the best quality corn. But of course, that's what you'd expect of Planters.
Dad, did they have Planters popcorn when you were a kid?
No, Jenny, you're the lucky one.
Mom, is it possible for Planters popcorn to be too light and fluffy?
Planters popcorn. So light and fluffy you'll get carried away.
Eddie Murphy, I know you. I'm used to American women saying, you don't own me. Hey, baby, where you going? You my woman, ain't you? I don't see no rings on these fingers. Who do you think you are anyway? Well, come and ask me where I'm going.
Eddie Murphy. Raw, the movie.
I'ma be where I'm at.
Catch him in the act.
Okay.
Starts December 18th at a selected theater near you. Check your local listings.
Children love showing off good grades, and they're entitled. It's hard work. But with Speak and Math from Texas Instruments, it isn't all work and no play. Speak and Math's fun activities and 3 levels of difficulty motivate kids.
That's right.
To learn at their own pace, from basic math to decimals.
That's correct.
No, we can't promise A's, but if we can help your child do better in math, it's worth a try. Speak and Math from Texas Instruments. Batteries not included.
Certs knows everybody has a style of their own. So the next time you're out to say something about yourself, remember this. And so does the great taste of certs with Reston.
Now, Oldsmobile meets your challenge by making Delta 88 more than just one of the best-selling big cars in America. It's one of the best big car buys in America. Because Oldsmobile is making it possible for your Oldsmobile dealer to pass along special savings of up to $775 on new air-conditioned 1988 Delta 88 models. Technologically advanced, solid Oldsmobile ride, and comfort for 6. And combined with Oldsmobile option package savings, total savings that could add up to $1,070. See your participating Oldsmobile dealer for details today.
Make your kids into a picture of good health. Help them grow up looking like you. Feed them right, smart, sleep at night. Healthy snacks, put them in the backpack. Jack, jack, jumping jack, pull that tummy, stretch that back. Sit them up, sit them down, everything is down. Make your kids into a picture of good health. Good health, good health. Make your kids into a picture of good health. Help them grow up looking like you.
Professor, how come Breton snack crackers taste better
than these?
Why, Breton's lighter tasting, crisper, thinner too, and so wonderfully delicious you just have to have more. In fact, 7 out of 10 people prefer the taste of Breton to the best-selling snack cracker.
Kids too?
Of course.
So when will everybody switch to Breton?
When they've tried them, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Breton, really and truly a better tasting snack cracker.
You really ought to try them.
McCain, he's done it again with 5-minute super fries. Deep fried every Christmas. You don't have to fry. 5 minutes in your oven. McCain 5-minute super fries. You know how to fry. McCain 5-minute super fries.
It's McCain Light Delight, and we made it just right. McCain Light Delight doesn't cut out the tasty food. We keep in all the good food and still keep it under 300 calories. McCain Light Delight, we didn't just make it light. McCain Light Delight, we made it just right.
So how's city living?
Dad, just fine.
As usual, your mother worries about what you're eating.
Tonight, tell her I'm having a wonderful spaghetti dinner.
No 300-calorie meal beats Schneider's new lifestyle entrees for real homemade taste. Because at Schneider's, if we can't make it better, we just won't make it. New lifestyle entrees from Schneider's.
Didn't I tell you she'd be doing great?
It's the supercalifragilistic
Disney World vacation.
There's always something going on. It's quite a celebration. We scream to shout and turn it to the blue. That there's nothing left to do.
There's Epcot too.
I'm gonna line. It's a supercalifragilistic.
Come on to the world's greatest resort.
Disney World vacation.
When you taste new Pringles Idaho Ripple Potato Chips, you better fasten your taste buds and get ready for a Pringles like you've never had before. Prepare yourself now for the only ridge chip made from 100% Idaho potatoes, so amazingly hearty, so outrageously crunchy. The taste is out of this world. New Idaho Ripple Potato Chips in original taco and cheddar and French onion flavors, so overwhelmingly delicious, you better fasten your taste buds.
You know, this is our first real shopping spree together.
Everything you need for baby is on sale during Baby Week at the Bay.
Now, here's a good place to start.
The new Gateway crib that converts into a bed is just $199. Save 50% on Tiny Tot signature apparel.
Now, this is definitely you.
And you can buy a silver-plated cup for only $2.99 with every $20 purchase.
Hey, that was fun. You buy?
It's Baby Week, now at the Bay.
Encore smoothie tasted. When it's time to take your time, moment by moment. Encore now, encore now.
Wednesday on the After School Special.
We were like a TV family, like the Brady Bunch.
Your mom and I, we decided to separate.
What?
Divorced Kids Blues. Wednesday.
Extraordinary, exceptional X-Men. Wolverine's got a tiger twist, stripes, and spring-out claws. The Iceman comes on his ice board with color-change icicles. Sabretooth's equipped with wounds that heal easily, an extra slashing claw, and glow-in-the-dark eyes and mouth. Here's Forge with his quick-draw gun action. Look out. And Mr. Sinister with his light-up chest. These aren't ordinary men. They're X-Men figures, each sold separately from Toy Biz.
Just for the satisfaction, just for the just for the taste of it. Diet Coke.
Or try caffeine-free Diet Coke. Same great taste as Diet Coke without the caffeine.
Just for the taste of it. Diet Coke.
We're a family of water babies and water baby watchers, of quiet dreamers and die-hard thrill seekers. We're a family of sun worshippers, of film critics, of cafe gourmets, and burger buffs. We're of the water and of the air, showgoers and rock and rollers. So we are one happy family who's very thankful for Ontario Place.
You're too young.
I'll show them.
In a crash!
It's Max.
Cocologists. Your numbers are growing because New Coke has a better, more modern taste than Pepsi. Uh-oh, you said the P word.
Now, can I join?
If it's yay, I stay. No, I go.
Max! Sure, you can join.
Can he be president? Catch the wave. Coke.
McDonald's presents the most wanted mug in America.
Who could resist a mug like this?
4 colorful glass Garfield mugs you can buy.
Believe me, I'm worth it.
For a special price with any McDonald's food purchase. There's a different mug each week featuring Garfield. Garfield?
Just getting my mug ready for my public.
This summer, McDonald's is serving up 4 Garfield mugs.
Summertime, serving up summertime.
It's the most wanted mug in America.
At McDonald's.
If you went to the trouble of making Ovation, you would take the taste of the freshest mint, or the flavor of luscious oranges, or the richest coffee, and balance that taste perfectly with dark chocolate. However, if you're the type of person who would go to the trouble of making Ovation, you're probably already serving them.
I'm kind of practical with the car. It has to be well made. Easy to handle. And good value. But I don't want to drive something that looks like a sensible shoe.
At Passport, we know what you really want. The affordable new Isuzu Stylish Sports Sedan. The picture of practicality.
Yeah, call her. Go on, call her.
No, it's long distance.
That's no excuse here. I'll call her.
That's right. Since January 1st, most long-distance rates are cheaper. A 5-minute call most places in Ontario and Quebec now costs $1.57 or less after 6 p.m.
Hello?
That's a 27% savings.
Yeah? Well, I'm tall, good looking. You know that's it.
So talk it out. Now it's cheaper to call long distance.
Yeah.
With Bell.
The sensitive kind.
Happiness is Marineland, where the fun goes up and down. Happiness is Marineland, where the fun goes round and round. It's whirling, swirling, it's crashing, splashing, time of day, right away. Happiness is Marineland, where the fun never stops.
Welcome, everyone. I hope everybody's having a good week, beginning of the week so far. Man, I hate doing lives like these. Because every once in a while, it's just like certain things happen and take place. And questions just overwhelm my thoughts. And I know, I realize it's the middle of the day. I don't expect a lot of people to be in here. Probably get a few replays maybe, but I have some questions. I have some questions. And I'm probably gonna lose some subs. It happens. And I want to be very careful how I word certain things because this might seem critical to people who I like and respect on this platform. And that's fine. Take that however you choose. But this in no way, my opinions on this or my questions involving these things have nothing to do with my opinions of certain creators. And I just want to be very clear about that. It has nothing to do with how I feel about anybody personally or anything of that nature. But supposedly, okay, I don't know if you guys remember. So last year, on the 1 year mark of Summer Wells going missing, there was just a circus. A circus. I mean, in my opinion, it's all it was. It was an absolute circus. I don't know. For some reason, everyone thought it would be this grand idea to go to Rogersville, Tennessee, and have their versions of vigils. Some called them vigils. Some called them vigils. Some said they're not even vigils. They're just we're here to celebrate the life of Summer Wells. We're here to honor her, and we're here to make sure her name and face are out there. That's all we're doing. We're making sure that her name and face are out there. And I'm going to be honest. Something like this, I'm of the understanding that something like this is going to be taking place again. Near Warrior's Path, which now I love that YouTubers want to keep Summer's name and face out there. I think that that's great. I think it's fantastic. As a matter of fact, what's up down the rabbit hole news? I get all that, and that's great. But that leads me to my first question. Okay. How does having this, whatever you're calling it, how does that get Summer's name and face out there? Because it's in a place where I promise you, Summer's name and face is everywhere. Okay. And maybe not on a bunch of posters all over the city and whatnot, but there are billboards. And I can tell you this because I live in Tennessee. And I live hours away from Rogersville. I used to live closer to Rogersville, about 45 minutes from Rogersville. Now I live probably about 2 hours even further away from Rogersville, Tennessee. And I could tell you this, to this day, when I go to a gas station or a convenience store where there is a lottery, there's a screen that shows the last lottery numbers, and people pay for advertisements to advertise their local company or whatnot. But to this day, Summer Wells' face and information is shown on this thing. So you're not walking in. Chances are, if you're walking into a gas station or a convenience store anywhere in Tennessee, you're going to see Summer's image. Even if you don't notice it, it will be subconsciously put into your head. If you're standing in line waiting to pay for your gas or whatever it is that you're purchasing at this store. How, that's my first question is how are you keeping Summer's name and face out there or putting it out there if you're doing it in the one place where everyone is guaranteed to know who Summer Wells is? Because I promise you, nothing else is going on in Rogersville that's exciting, to say the least, for lack of a better term. The most exciting thing that has taken place in Rogersville, Tennessee, is Summer Wells gone missing almost 2 years ago. And I don't even know what's going on over on Queen Bees. And I'm going to open up the phone lines. So if anybody feels like they want to talk about this, because like I said, right now, all I got are questions. But I will also be fair and say that my opinions so far on this issue are the same as they were last year. I haven't seen any reason to change my opinion on this. Like, it doesn't really make sense to me. Because I'm not. I mean, Cherry is making a great point. You know, talk about her, share her photos and description with people where you live, not with people that I already know she's missing. You know what that does? It just makes people have more resentment to the entire situation. People who, believe it or not, just want to move on with their lives. People who are like, every time they see someone there because of Summer Wells, they're not even thinking of a missing child anymore. What they're thinking about are YouTubers invading their quiet little place to live and invading their very quiet and peaceful little way of life in the middle of nowhere, where all they have is their church communities and their neighbors. But how is it more effective? I mean, that's what I want to know is what is the justification? Because like I said, I'm going to open up the phone lines because I want to know. I want to be convinced, because like I said, there are people who I like and who I respect on this platform who are involved in this thing. And I would love some justification so I can get behind it. I'm willing to get behind it if I'm missing something, because I think that I'm not missing something. I don't believe I am. I you know, when it was the weirdest thing, there was the church community vigil that Robin organized, and then there was the one that Bullhorn Betty organized, and then there was the one that other YouTubers organized and attended. And it was just like they were having this weird, everybody, and all I could think of was, why is this happening anywhere outside of the church community's organized event that they put together, because the church community knew summer. The church community was actually affected. Their lives were affected by summer going missing. And what do you, I don't understand. Like, are you celebrating, or are you creating awareness? I heard someone on some panel talking about that there's going to be a bunch of dancing because Summer liked to dance. But I find this interesting because, like, what's the difference? What's the difference between Bullhorn Betty putting together one of these things with a birthday cake, or not a birthday cake, but a cake, right? And handing out t-shirts. What's the difference between her doing it and then these other people who were there doing it, handing out pens that say "looking ass" on them? And then and here's another question that's going to make some people mad. How's it any better than MGL dancing and with streamers and singing happy birthday and having a fundraiser, which, to my understanding, that fundraiser was for missing and exploited children, to raise money for that, which is fine. The problem is that it's MGL. So of course everyone was side-eyeing and going, MGL's making something off of this. And sure, her channel's going to benefit from it. You know, it's going to look like, oh my God, MGL really cares about the victims. I mean, I wasn't fooled by that shit for 1 second. All I'm saying is, what's the difference between what MGL did and Bullhorn Betty did from what anybody else is doing? Seriously. I'm not saying what's the difference in their character, because I know that's going to be where everyone goes to. I'm not asking what the difference in their characters are. I know the difference in their characters. What I'm saying is, what's the difference in the action? Why do these people over here get praised for it, and then these people over here get ostracized for it and criticized for it? That's what I'm curious about. I'm just trying to understand, you know, seriously, like, I'm just trying to understand. I'd like to know how this is not simply a meet and greet with Summer's name slapped all over it. Please explain to me. Because, I mean, you do meet and greets, but would you, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing a meet and greet and not saying anything about that. But what's the difference? What's the difference between using Summer's name and tagging it in a live stream, right? And then doing something that's completely unrelated that doesn't do anything to help find Summer? Because I don't see how this helps find Summer at all. Everybody's like, it's because we have to find Summer. We have to find Summer. We have to find. Okay, great. But what's that doing? Besides disturbing, possibly, it may not, but besides disturbing the already disturbed peace of the community in Rogersville. I mean, somebody explain that to me. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things you could do. I mean, you could do it. You'd be more effective just doing the shit from your house on a stream where you stream God knows how many times a week. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with honoring Summer. I get that. That's great. But why are you going out there? For what? What is the purpose besides, I mean, having a meet and greet? Yeah, no, I get it. I'm not here to like pick apart and debate the validity behind what MGL was doing. I'm not even trying to I'm not trying to validate what MGL was doing. I thought it was tacky as fuck. But I mean, she was raising money for the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, wasn't she? You know? That's what I'm saying. Cam is saying, I don't know. The whole thing just puts a weird taste in my mouth. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm a pretty instinctively, I'm a pretty sharp guy. You know, I as far as my instincts go, but there's something that really sits poorly with me when it comes to my instincts, when it comes to my gut. When I hear about this, I don't get a warm, fuzzy feeling about the intentions. You know, like I hear the words, but then when I hear the words, I question. You know, I hear the words like, hey, this is about Summer. And, you know, we need more people to advocate for Summer. But okay, here's another point. Why not go to a town where a child is missing and nobody really knows about it, and then create awareness in that town? Because everybody knows about Summer Wells. Everyone does. Everyone in that town knows about Summer Wells. And that town is torn whether or not to accuse Dawn and Candace of something, and blah blah blah, or they're supportive of them, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, when you just chalk it all up to what it is simply a shit show, a circus in that town. The fact that people are questioning whether or not Dawn and Candace had anything to do with that crime, whether or not they did, doesn't matter. That's not what I'm saying. The fact that there's all of this split shit going on in that community already, what good are you doing by bringing more to that? Because at this point, it's to me, it's a local thing, man. To me, like I would feel so wrong to show up there and be like, we're here to support. Okay, but to support what? I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, did those people ask for me to be there? Did those people say, you know what, we need more people coming out here? You know, I mean, if that were the case, then the community that actually had the legitimate vigil last year for Summer Wells would have invited everyone in and allowed live streaming and encouraged live streaming from that particular vigil. Wouldn't they have? Yeah, and nobody's saying, Cherry, I agree with you, and nobody's saying that anybody is specifically a hypocrite, but you got to admit there's some hypocrisy here, unless it can be explained to me that there's not, and I'm open to that. I'm more than open to that. Like I said, convince me, recruit me onto this. I would love to know. I want to be part of something that's so positive and so respectful and great. Because I'm just not seeing, maybe I'm a dick, you know, maybe I am the things that my critics say about me, which is I'm just looking for things to criticize all the time. And I just can't find anything positive in anything and blah, 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 blah. Maybe that's the case. And if that's true, please convince me as to why. Share with me the logical side of showing up to this place and basically throwing a party because it's what it is. If you have food, drinks, or what the fuck ever, and decorations and people getting together, it's a fucking party. You know what I mean? Agreed, Cherry, agreed. If Bullhorn Betty had a dance party, everyone would be shitting a Miata. Like, everybody would be going nuts on her. See, that's what I'm saying. That's another good point, Susan Lloyd. Now, apparently there's no money being donated. The defense is that money's being spent, not made. Cool. All right. But why not? Because here's another thing, and this is going to piss a lot of people off. Her ambiguous darkness, welcome to Logic. This is going to make so many fucking people mad. I'm not really looking forward to making this point, but because we've made fun of Betty on this channel. I've made fun of Betty on this channel for making flyers and sticking flyers in the camera's face. But supposedly there's no flyers. There's not enough flyers on telephone poles or anything like that in the area. But Betty's the only creator that I know of that made flyers and posted them in that area. Regardless of all the other havoc she did. I'm not talking about that. She caused more damage and havoc. I'm not here defending Betty. Don't get me wrong. I know she caused a shit ton more havoc over there than she did any good. But if the complaint is that there's not enough flyers, well, then why aren't people making flyers and posting them up everywhere? You know? Like, what's a dance party going to do? You know what I mean? I don't get it. Right. Cam, I agree with you. I made that point just a little bit ago. Because, I mean, why not pick? Because if it is about a missing child and spreading awareness, why go to the place where there could possibly not be any more awareness spread? Like, you cannot spread any more awareness in that area about Summer Wells. It's all anybody knows about. You know? Like, I don't get it. And again, I said this wasn't going to be a very long live stream. I mean, I think okay, so early on, flyers were printed by local shop for anyone to get it. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I find it hard to believe that there wasn't enough people in that area doing anything to spread information on Summer. I just find that difficult to believe. All I'm saying is, you know, I saw Bullhorn Betty make flyers and put them out there with the fax machine that we make fun of all the time, that I make fun of all the time. She made a bunch of flyers. You know what I mean? And and here's the thing. This is going to make a lot of people mad too. Sorry, but Yeah, no, I saw that. I streamed it. Babel Brothers, I streamed it. I know about the looking ass pens because I watched Cam from Cracking Cases pull one out and hold it to the camera like, ha ha, that's great. Ha ha ha, that's great. And I just saw everybody just having a grand old time. I didn't see any awareness being created or spread about summer. I didn't see any of that.
Okay, I found this on the web for I see any awareness being created or spread about summer and see any of that.
Shut up. Sorry. If I say anything that sounds even remotely like SIRI, it gets activated. No, I saw them on camera reacting to the pens. So I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit at all. Like, because that's just a fucking lie. I mean, sorry. That's just a fucking lie. I saw people holding up the pen and reacting to it. How do I know about the pen? I wasn't there. How do I know about the pen? You know how I know about the pen? Because while it was live, I was streaming it. I didn't stream a replay. I streamed that shit in real time. I remember it. It was only a year ago. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to listen to that. I'd have to listen to that. Yeah, see, I don't know. I don't know, man. No, and I heard that's the thing, because I'm not going to sit up here. This is another reason why I'm doing this stream is I'm not going to be villainized for calling this out and asking questions, valid questions about this. You know, just because people that I like are involved in this. And I'm not going to be villainized for asking valid questions about this when, you know, again, like I said, they're just questions. I'm perfectly willing to have anyone defend this and get me on board with it. Because if I'm misunderstanding, then I'm not too proud to admit that I'm misunderstanding all of this. Right. If it gives me a weird vibe, that's why I'm asking these questions. If it didn't give me a weird, because it might just be something that's just straight up legit that I don't understand, and then I'm just like, I don't care, whatever. You know, but how is this not just another exploitation of Summer Wells? Someone explain to me how it's not. Solo MCFC, thank you. I appreciate that. That's absolutely true. Well, Reluctant Healer is making a good point. See, you're saying, so Robin Lane is organizing a prayer vigil for that day. That feels 100% where everyone needs to be. And I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. But people who are there for the reason of summer, and if you're really there just for summer, well, then you won't feel the need to stream it, because the only rule is, at least last year, you're welcome here. From what I remember, Robin was saying, you're welcome here, but there's no streaming. We're not going to turn this into that. But you're welcome to come and pray with us and get together with us. Sure. Oh shit, somebody done pissed Cherry off. Yeah, I agree with Cherry John Hunt. Go fuck yourself. Who the fuck has even heard from Benny? I don't even know where the fuck Benny Keys is. I haven't heard a fucking thing from Benny Keys in God knows how long. I don't give a shit about Benny Keys or his pens. Yeah, I mean, anybody who would mock that is shitty, but I don't think anybody was doing that really, except for Betty. I think Betty said something shitty about it, which was just expected. It's like because she wanted her party, you know, to be the party that everybody goes to. Like she was looking at it as like, oh my God, Stacy from Stacy the senior is having a party the same day as my party, and it's the same theme. Stacy sucks. That was the Betty attitude that I got from that, and it was just again more shit that I was just like, what in the fuck is this? See, that's your fucking problem, John Hunt. Let me, since you're sorry, I just thought you were friends with them since you appeared on streams. And dude, first of all, just because I appear on streams with people doesn't mean that I'm friends with anyone. I have very few people who I consider my friends. Okay? Very few. All right? This is fucking YouTube. Most of the people here I'll never meet in my life. Most of the people here I won't even have a conversation with behind the scenes if I'm having a conversation with them on a stream. Most of the time, if I have a conversation with them, it's in regards to what happened on this, what's going to happen on the stream, more or less. Like, okay, I'm going to send you a link and I'm going to talk for about 5 minutes and then I'll bring you on. That sort of thing. That's what goes on behind the scenes. Other than that, most people on this platform, and don't take this the wrong way, anybody, but most people on this platform, I don't have any fucking interest whatsoever in speaking to on a personal basis. I just don't. I mean, like, so many people on this platform take this shit so personally. Like, because you do a couple of streams with somebody, all of a sudden you're best buds. I have maintained friendships with people who I've done live streams with. That has happened, for sure. But just to assume that, I mean, that's like assuming that people agree on the same topic because they've done live streams together. Or that's like assuming that two people agree on the same topic because they're friends. I can be friends with people who I don't agree with. Amazing. Think about that. I know. It's something that is so hard to imagine. It's just like no, it's a lot to process. I get it. I mean, yeah, let me just go ahead and open this up. So the phone number is right here. Anybody wants to call in and share their opinions. Especially anybody planning on attending this thing, because I'd love to hear from you. Again, I'm not going to attack anybody. I'm not here to attack anybody. I just want to understand it better. Yeah, Real Sunflower, you're making a good point too. And Cherry made this very same point. Like, it's the day she went missing. Like, at least MGL threw a birthday party on Summer's birthday. You know what I mean? Like, what I don't understand what the celebration is. You know? All right, I had somebody try to call, but they hung up. Oh, wait, you didn't. Here we go. Okay, you're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Will.
Hey, who am I speaking with?
I'm Bash from Bash the Tragedy Pimp.
Bash the Tragedy Pimps. What's up?
Not much. I was just sitting here listening to you talk about the Summer's Day.
Okay.
Yeah, I live like 15 minutes away from Warriors Pass, and I'm actually thinking about going. And I don't know if all the Tragedy Pimps are going to be there or not, since, as far as I know, they're not going to allow any live streaming. What do you think? Think they'll be there anyway?
Well, I mean, where are you planning on going? Are you planning on attending the one organized by the church community, or the one organized by YouTubers?
I was planning on going to the one organized by the church community.
I mean, I don't see why. I mean, you're part of that community. I mean, maybe not the church community, but you live in that area. You're affected by that, and a child from your area. Why would you feel weird about showing up to that?
Well, it's not that I feel weird about it. I was just wondering if you think Betty and all them are going to be here, since technically they're not going to be live streaming.
I mean, I don't know
who's show up.
I don't know who's now. I don't know who the other, like, I don't know if Chasing and all these other people are planning on live streaming. I don't know. I haven't really. That's why I titled this "I Have Questions," because I want to understand it better. So
yeah, did you watch Deets on the Street yesterday? Her live stream.
I watched a little bit of it, but I couldn't pay close attention. I got a lot of personal stuff going on right now, which is why I haven't been live very often lately. I apologize for that. But yeah, I've got some personal things going on that is very distracting and making it difficult for me. And that's another reason why I went in the middle of the day here. So,
oh, okay. Well, she had some people on there that I took it as the organizers. So they are the ones that pretty much said that there's no live streaming, and the way they made it sound, it was like they really don't want any YouTubers there unless they're there for the right reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're talking about Robin and the church community.
Yeah, Robin wasn't the one on stream. I can't remember this lady's name, but
See, that makes
you know,
perfect sense to me, because the way that I see it is your community, because I'm going to call it your community. If you live 15 minutes from Warriors Path, well, then that's your community. So,
Right.
so your community seems to be doing this for the community. It's not necessarily for summer. It kind of is, but a child went missing from your community. And what they're doing is just remembering the fact that a child, a beloved member of your community, a defenseless small child, went missing from your community.
right. And they're not doing this, you know, for money and clicks and views.
No. Right. Right.
There's a lot of stuff, I take it, that is being donated, you know, by businesses in this community.
Sure. Sure.
Which, you know, in my opinion, is very good. I mean, my personal opinion is, I mean, somebody like Chasing and all them that, you know, they do things the right way. That would be good if they could come, if, you know, whatever they're going to do. I wouldn't mind meeting her. But as far as the other ones, I'm hoping they don't show up, you know, like Dolly and all his crew. Because I got a feeling it's going to turn into a shit show if they do.
Oh, well, for sure. But I wouldn't even go that far, because I haven't heard anything from Betty. I mean, it didn't turn out well. So I didn't hear anything from Betty. I haven't heard that she's planning on going out there. I haven't heard anything from Dolly saying that he's planning on going out there.
Oh, Dolly's going. He's taking his girlfriend and his little sidekick.
Okay. Okay, so he's going. Okay. So,
and Mallory's talking about going.
Well, Cherry, the difference as to who does it, it's a question of if it's the church community organizing it or not. As far as the not goes, they're all the same to me.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, the only people who's validated in doing this is the church community. You know,
right? Gotcha.
That's it. Other than that, if you're organizing this and you don't belong to that community, well, then what are you doing? Why aren't you just helping contribute to that community? Like bring something to their community. Don't stream it, and just say, hey, we're here to support because we believe in we want Summer to be found, and Summer going missing has affected us in such a horrible way. And
Correct.
you would
Correct.
be welcome. Now, you being affected, like me as a YouTuber, no way that I could ever be as affected by anybody that actually lives in that community, you know?
Right.
Unless I had a child who went missing and I can relate to you know, or I had a person in my church community go missing and I feel connected to these people and I just wanted to come and give some moral support. But other than that, I just don't see, I don't see it being of any benefit to anybody but themselves, you know?
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
And I'm trying to understand otherwise, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I respect some of the people who are doing it, and I don't think that their hearts are in the wrong place. You know, I have no reason to think that their hearts are in the wrong place. I'm just wondering, do they realize that it's probably more disrespectful than it is respectful? You know?
Right. Well, it'll be interesting when it happens. I mean, I'm planning on going, you know, regardless, because this is my community.
Right. It is.
So I will let you know what happens.
And I don't, I'm not going to criticize you for that at all. I'm not going to criticize anybody for going to that and wanting to be part of that church community, because as far as I know last year, I haven't heard anything this year, but I know last year, Robin and whoever else was organizing this thing for the church community, they said everybody was welcome. Just be respectful and don't stream it. It's not for that. It's
right.
It's just for the community to show up and support each other in missing this child, you know,
Well,
and praying
right.
for this child.
Well, I mean, if I go, it will be definitely for the right reasons. You know, there is, even if they didn't care if you streamed it or not, I wouldn't do that because, you know, there's going to be minors, kids there, and I don't think that they need to be subjected to live streaming, you know, something on
That
a day
too.
like this to remember summer.
That too, because I know some of these YouTubers, like the YouTube subscribers, the supporters, people who just listen to these YouTubers are going to show up to this thing, and some of them are going to be bringing their kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like somebody just said,
kids and everything.
somebody just said that their kids got pens that said "looking ass" all over it. You know what I mean? Last year, which is totally inappropriate. You know?
Totally.
So
That's why I would not stream it and even take a chance of a kid being, you know, in the shot. I mean, I've made jokes about Betty being there, you know, so I could meet her in person, but when it gets down to it, I hope she doesn't show up.
yeah, I don't think she will. I haven't heard anything about it. Because she spent a lot of time trying to organize this thing and promoting it. I mean, just that alone made for content for me to go over and criticize. She hasn't done any of that, from what I understand. Janeka is making a good point. She's saying, why don't they all have a town meeting with these YouTubers in Hawkins County Sheriff's Department? Give and get information if you can. Just my opinion, at least make yourself useful. I couldn't agree more. But at the same time, I also feel like the other side of that coin is, well, why should they have to? Why should outsiders even be a factor that community has to deal with at this point, 2 years later? You know?
But well, in my opinion, because Summer Wells is still content.
Well, right. That I mean, that's the obvious answer. I'm saying, morally speaking, you know, why? Why not? You know what I mean? I don't understand why people can't just respect this family. Because again, if you're trying to create awareness on a missing child, how are you doing that in a town on the day of the missing child going missing? How are you creating awareness when the whole town already knows about it? You're going to that town. What are you doing there? What awareness are you creating and spreading? How? Where?
That is a very good point.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you live there. Could you attest to some of the, I mean, is there anybody that you know that doesn't know about Summer Wells going missing?
Maybe just, you know, people in the elderly community,
right?
You know, that don't keep up with stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, I think pretty much everybody knows about it.
Right. Would you say that there's, I mean, at least in the last 2 years, or even going back closer to the time where she went missing, would you say that that there's, you know, billboards? Have you seen any billboards or any posters or anything like that near where you live?
No.
Okay.
That over there, Warriors Path is in Sullivan County. The Wells live in Hawkins County. I live in Washington County, which is all.
Oh, okay. So
connected.
how far is Warriors Path from Rogersville?
I'm not exactly sure. I mean, it's, you know how Candace always used to say they'd run to Kingsport if they needed to go here, go there. I mean, it's that close.
Right. Kingsport's the closest thing to a major city near them.
Right.
Right.
And you know where Don Wells was working when Betty and Molly showed up
Right.
and got him fired.
Yeah.
That's 7 miles from my house. That's how close I live to all this.
Okay. Huh.
But anyway, I just want to know, I've been listening to you and trying to keep up with what other people are saying and their opinions on it, and trying to just see who maybe is actually going to show up. I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly couldn't tell you necessarily. I just feel like unless you're there just to support the community, because at this point it's about supporting that community. Because you're not doing anything for summer, you know what I mean? So the people that need support right now, and even if you feel like Don and Candace are guilty of something, that they were behind Summer's disappearance, still the community deserves some support, you know? Now they don't need you to show up, but if you're gonna show up there, those are the people that you need to be supporting, you know?
Right.
I mean, I don't see how else, you know, to create this whole separate event. It seems I can't see how that's in any way anything other than self-serving as a YouTube creator, you know?
Oh yeah, I know.
Like, even if it's just for your own, you know, ego to tell yourself that you're doing something, I don't see how it's beyond that, you know? Like, even if you're not making any money off of it, even if you're not monetizing it or streaming it or whatever, what are you doing? How are you by creating an event that is separate from the only event to me that would be legitimate in paying respects to Summer, you know, to do anything other than just be supportive of that organized event seems self-serving to me.
Right. Well, I mean, I plan on going, and if I do, it's going to be as, you know, somebody that is in this local community. It's not going to be as a YouTuber.
Agreed. I mean, and
I mean, I'm not monetized anyway. It wouldn't even do me any good to live stream anything, but
right.
I just don't want to do that. As I'm not going as a YouTube creator, put it that way.
Right.
I'm just going as a good old Tennessee resident.
Right.
You know, cares about this little girl.
No, and I think that's great. And I applaud you for that. You and I'm aware of you and your channel and everything that you've done. I know that your heart is definitely on the right side of things.
Before.
and it's tough to really express your honest opinion on this issue because, like I said, I mean, there's people involved who we really like and respect, you know. So right. It's an awkward position to be in, but when it comes down to my own, you know, my own self-respect and my own integrity and principles, you know what I mean? Like, I can't just sit here and be like, well, last year I felt this way, this year no, for the same exact reasons I feel differently. That doesn't make sense. I thought it was bullshit last year, and I think it's bullshit again this year. Sorry, but
well, I'm hoping it
I wish
doesn't
somebody
turn
would
into
convince
as
me
much
otherwise.
Bullshit this year as it did last year.
Right.
And maybe, you know, if everybody will just, you know, be respectful, they can have a nice event. That's all it boils down to.
Well, my point being that if it's an event separate from the one that's being organized by the church community, it's disrespectful. That's my opinion. I mean,
yeah,
somebody needs to, like I said,
with all that.
I opened the phone line so somebody could convince me how it's not, you know?
Well, I mean, I don't think any YouTuber that comes here, I mean, if they're just coming here to pay respects to the community, to Summer or whatever, that's all well and good. But to have the thoughts of coming here, live streaming and open it up, no, I just don't agree with
Right.
that.
Yeah, like I
I
saw
do not.
that and I just saw a bunch of people, and I'm not saying be miserable because Summer Wells is missing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like you threw a party. You did the opposite. You threw a party
Right.
and you slapped Summer's name all over it, and it was just, what were you doing for Summer? You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't get it.
Well, I'm surprised, really, in this area that there's not, like billboards and flyers that you mentioned earlier. But
Sure.
this little town I live in, I just don't. I don't see anything about Summer. I mean, people know about it, yes, but are there flyers and all this stuff out there? No.
And I could see that. Like, I could see a bunch of YouTubers being like, you know what I'm going to do? Like, last time I was here, I didn't see any flyers or nothing. I'm going to make some, and I'm going to organize a campaign to where if you want to volunteer, we just spread ourselves all over the surrounding areas of Rogersville that are very public, that have, a decent population, and ask the local businesses if I can hang up a flyer. Like, that would be amazing.
Of the Tri-City area, there's Bristol, Johnson City, and Kingsport.
Right.
I live in the biggest one of those.
Yeah, like,
and there are no flyers anywhere.
Yeah, so I mean, if that's the case, then cool, organize that shit. But I mean, to throw down a barbecue, now I could see throwing down a barbecue and celebrating that all of us got together, and we since we can't conduct a search because the terrain is too dangerous, and law enforcement has asked us not to search. I could see not doing that, but nobody said you can't go to the surrounding areas and hang up flyers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Great.
Nobody says you can't do that. That's great. And then if you want to throw you want to throw down for the people who did that shit and celebrate them and just be real about it, like, we're here to celebrate you because you came out here and you fucking did this. You know what I mean?
Well,
that's great.
I've got a couple of subs on my channel that live close to here also, and they had mentioned, us all getting together on that day. Maybe that's what we can do. I can go and print up a bunch of flyers, and we'll just get out and do flyers.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not saying to do that. I'm just giving examples of, what I'm just trying to. I'm thinking of things that would justify anyone outside of the church community organizing any type of event and putting Summer's name on it. That's the only thing I'm saying.
I know where you're coming from. Exactly. I do. Well, it's been good talking to you. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while.
Well, I'm glad you called. Thank you so much, Pastor Tragedy. But Sherry, if you could share her channel in the chat, I would really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you. You don't have to do that.
I know. I want to. Thank you so much, Bash.
All right. Thank you. You have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Yeah, so the line's still open. Well, call a town meeting. The whole town knows. Call a town meeting for what? To tell everybody something that the whole town already knows? That's my whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, how are you creating awareness in the one place that everybody is for sure already aware? You know what I mean? Yeah, like, just because it's not Betty or Molly doing it, it doesn't mean that it's justified, in my opinion. Thank you, Cherry. I appreciate that. Yeah, like and I know the defense is, well, we're not celebrating. Well, what are you doing then? What are you doing? That's all I'm trying to understand. Like, what are you doing? What exactly is it that you're doing? Please explain it to me. And explain to me how it helps find summer. Because that's what we keep hearing is how is what the lab is doing. What's the lab doing to help find summer? What's Chris McDonough doing to help find summer? What's Bullhorn Betty doing to help find summer? What's Molly Golightly doing to help find summer? You know, okay, but how is doing the same exact thing that they were doing helping find summer? No, Mar BMW Sequel, you're misunderstanding. What they're doing is they're organizing a prayer vigil. These are people who believe in the power of prayer, and they're getting together on the day that Summer went missing to pray. I don't see anything wrong with that. Whether you're whatever your beliefs are, it's irrelevant. But their beliefs are that they believe in the power of prayer, and to them, it's all they can do beyond what law enforcement has done or is doing. Them as a community, what they can do is to support each other and get together and have a very respectful remembrance of the fact that a child went missing from their community 2 years ago and there are no answers. I fully understand that. I don't have information on that, but I don't see why it would be difficult to find it. And I don't encourage anyone to go out there and be part of it either, because again, that's their community. You know, like that's their community. They're the ones who suffered from this. They're the ones that had a member of their community go missing. You see what I'm saying? So people just caught up in the hype of Summer Wells being missing and showing up there to their home. It's, you know, I mean, because I promise you that they're like, sure, you're welcome here because there's no good reason to keep people out. No, you cannot attend our prayer vigil. They're not going to say that. But yes, somebody who intends on attending this prayer vigil organized by the local community there for the local community, well, you should be mindful of not being intrusive, as Amy just put it, because I would think it's very intrusive. I'm not going out there. I'm not going out there. And I don't think the Wells are involved in any of the planning either. I mean, but think about it. What's going to happen? What's going to happen if Don or Candace show up? And I'm sure they're welcome. But what's going to happen if Don or Candace show up to this thing? it could bring it could bring drama. You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Mr. Harlan again.
What's up, Mr. Harlan?
On this, doing good. I haven't heard anything. Has it been really that long since Summer's been missing?
Almost 2 years,
God,
yes,
that's
sir.
bad.
2 years.
That's bad.
2 years this June.
Oh my God. Oh Lord. So what's this about, a get together? I've been watching the stream, but I've had things going on here. Constantly people going in and out of the door because we've got issues at this house already. Was it a barbecue, or what is it? A vigil? Or is it more drama?
Well, I mean, it's not intended to be drama, and there's no drama planned, but I mean, what it seems like is that YouTubers are putting together this thing that's separate from what the local community is putting together, and I don't see how it's helpful to
It's not helpful at all.
to finding Summer or creating awareness, and that seems to be the reasoning behind doing it. So
if it's something like a dance party, that ain't gonna help them.
Right.
All these creators are wanting, they just want money in their hands.
Well, that's how it's going to
That's all
be
they want.
boiled
They
down
want
to,
clicks and
and
views,
that concerns
all that.
me. That concerns me because I respect
No, it does. It concerns
that.
me as well.
Well, it concerns me because I like some of these creators, and I don't want them doing something that's going to, because I feel like the intention is knowing the integrity of some of these creators. I understand that the intention is probably good. I get that, but
Right.
I don't feel it's being thought through. Now maybe I'm not
it is
thinking
not
it
being
through.
thought through.
I'm considering the possibility that I'm not thinking it through, and maybe I'm missing something here. Like I said, I want to be bring me on board to supporting this. Convince me, and I'll be supportive of it. But I can't. I'm still not. I'm not convinced. Not at all. To me, my opinion is exactly what it was last year, and last year it was just fucking gross.
I don't know what Danson's going to do at all. I think.
Yeah,
it
no,
should
I
just
heard one of
be-
these ladies talking about. Hold on, I heard one of these ladies talking about, well, we're gonna dance because Summer like to dance. What?
No,
What?
that's not going to help find her. Okay, she likes to dance. So did I at some point in my life until I almost broke my neck. But you don't see me out there in Tennessee trying to bust the moves and thinking, oh, yeah, it's going to find her. No, it's not. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah, let me see if I can. All right, so I'm looking at. Yeah, she didn't leave a link in the description. But I'd like to review the same stream that Dietz did, so I can get a better understanding. Yeah, see, I never heard of. Yeah, I see. What is some? Let me see if I can just search that title.
Yeah. Good Lord, I'm looking at the chat and somebody said something about criticism of someone who was twerking at the last event. Oh,
I can't even see the chat right now. Does anybody
Jerry says if you can tell me the creator, I'll grab it for you.
see? That's the thing, is I don't know the creator. I could see the title in Dietz's video, and I'm searching by the title, but I don't see the creator. It's a creator that I don't think I've ever heard of. It says welcome to the circle. I don't know who that is.
I've never heard of that person.
Circle jerk. Okay. Oh my God.
God.
If I search that,
That's
you know what's
that's
going to come
that
up?
on radio. Oh, I know what that is. I watch.
Yeah, like
I'm a fan of a music group called Ghost, and they have a music video that age restricted because they have that in the video. Oh God, who comes up with these names? Like, you need to see somebody about that. Oh my God.
all right. Maybe it's this one. Okay, I found it. All right. All right. So, all right, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to review this a little bit and get an idea.
Oh God.
All right. Thanks for calling, buddy.
Richard, people. You have a good day.
I don't know. Take what I've just said as a heartfelt recommendation of every single thing that happens on the day that marks Summer's disappearance. But also, I'm not going to flat out condemn every single thing either. Because, exactly, look at this beautiful drawing. How many times have you seen this? Because people have been requested not to put it on monetized channels because the artist, and I'm sorry, Art for Life is the name, isn't it? I couldn't think of it. I'm not very with it today and yesterday, so please excuse me. But Summer seems to be the last topic of conversation, and yet she's the reason for all of it.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Because a lot of the issue is nobody's talking about Summer. The only people that really know anything about Summer and who she was that have even remotely even touched YouTube would be Dawn and Candace and anybody who was part of her church community. Other than that, I mean, I'm not interested in hearing from them. So, I mean, I'm just trying to understand here, like, what are we supposed to be talking as far as Summer goes? As far as Summer goes, I mean, I understand, but I also think it's weird, and this is going to piss a lot of people off too. If we just treat Summer like she's some sort of sainted entity by the church, you know what I mean? I mean, she's a missing child and she's innocent, and for all we know, she's scared out of her mind. I'm not going to commemorate her like as if she's dead. I'm going to consider Summer Wells as a missing child who's out there scared. And that's all I need to know. And I think feeling that way and only that way about it is going to be the most effective way to get people to take finding her seriously, because there's this seed that's planted. I've always said this when it came to missing people. There's this seed that's planted when you start talking about them like they're dead, and you start, remembering them, in this weird way. When you start doing that and you start remembering them like as if they're no longer with us, well, then that also subconsciously what that does is it does something to your hope. It does something to the hope of finding this child safely. I'm not ready to think of Summer as no longer with us. I'm not ready to do that. There's no evidence to say that Summer is no longer with us. She's a missing child. And as far as I'm concerned, she's somewhere out there and she's scared out of her fucking mind. And she just wants to go home. And that is the only way. I refuse to think of her in any other way. And I realize that that seems morbid. I realize that some people are like, why would you want to picture a child like that? Because if I picture the child like that, then I'm going to have more of a sense of urgency of hoping that she's found. Because other than that, I'm just going to think of her as dead. I'm not ready to think of a 6-year-old girl who I won't do it.
Yeah. Oh, Wisconsin Mama. Oh, you just reminded me of something. 1 second. I need to get a link here. Okay. The only credible for monetized from day one. Right. And I think that's one of the only other channels that who has permission to use those age progression sketches because they are copyrighted. And she had requested that they only be used on.
Why would an age progression sketch of a child be copyrighted, first of all? I'm not criticizing the person who's saying this. They're just relaying information. You know what I mean? But why in the fuck is an age progression picture, artist rendering of a missing child copyrighted? It should be blasted all over the place. That picture, if any picture, should be blasted all over the place. How in the fuck? Because if I get a hold of an age progression photo of a missing person, doesn't matter who it is. If I get a photo of an age progression of a missing person, guess what I'm going to do with that? I'm going to share it everywhere. And you know what I'm going to do? If somebody tries to say, don't share that, copyright it, it's copyrighted, I'm going to go, fuck you, sue me, kiss my ass. And how dare you fucking copyright that? Because guess what that is? That's exploitation, people. So, I mean, and if they are an artist, and that's fine. If you're an artist, that's great. But an age progression photograph of a missing person should just be out there and utilized. You should not be looking for credit for it. And you should not be shutting down the idea of anybody else sharing it because you copyrighted it. Why the fuck did you copyright it? That's insane to me.
So yeah, it's shit show after shit show after shit show. I don't know. I think it's weird, so I'm just not going to go. I don't really care what.
I have to say, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go, but I would use the atmosphere around it and people talking about it to hammer home the fact, all the details that we do have, the age progression images, just talking about the fact that this little girl is still missing. Whatever people want to do is up to them. But if it just sets up a conversation, I will be happy with that.
Fingerprinting kids, teaching parents what to do in case of an emergency. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Oops. Are we fighting over the same comment?
I think so, yes. We're both trying to highlight it and shutting it off either way. I agree, Liplock. I think that people forget. There are certain development with children when you've got children of your own.
Yeah, don't start in the chat bashing these people because I don't know nothing about them. I don't know what their intentions are yet. I have to listen to more. So before please don't start getting mad at these people because I don't even know who they are or what their intentions are yet.
And 5 to 7 is pretty significant. And I also think that people are saying that the age progression is too old because you can see so much of Candace in her, but then you could. So people's perceptions of age are actually being projected onto that image. It's not too old of an image, but because you know Candace's face so well, your perception of it as being much older is actually projecting onto it.
Right. And look at your own kids. I was just having this conversation with someone at work the other day, when I was showing them my daughter's photo. Um, so many times my kids, one minute they look like me, the next minute they look like their dad, the next minute they look like a sibling. They change all the time. And especially girls, because girls mature quicker than boys. So, certain features become more prominent. So, Summer, you could see a lot of Dawn in her in the beginning because of the blonde hair, and then
Can I
Candace, and
also
then Dawn. Yeah, go ahead, Isa.
can I also point out that those drawings were done by a forensic artist, one that's quite
Yes.
familiar in the age progression of, from certain ages and what.
Okay, so if that was done by a forensic artist, why are they copywriting it? Why is it copyrighted?
But becomes more prominent at certain ages. And the
someone
biggest thing
who's-
is that we want people to remember that you're not looking for a little girl that looks like Summer did back on the day she disappeared. It has now been nearly 2 years. She is older. She does look different. She's going to have lost teeth and had permanent teeth coming in. She will be turning in. She's no longer a toddler and turning into a little girl. So it's important to bear that in mind and keep your eyes open.
I wanted to reiterate your point about these drawings being made by a professional. This is someone whose work can actually be listed as evidence in court cases.
Yeah.
This is her job. So whatever your feelings about whether you think it's too aged, the fact is that this is her job and this is what she does. And she provides evidence in court cases.
Yeah, see, I don't know who these people are, but I mean, that's not the issue. At least not anybody in this chat with any fucking common sense feels that that's the issue. The issue is, why is it copyrighted? Why are you worried about sharing it? Again, I'm going to say it one more time. If I get a hold of those pictures, I'm going to share them. And I'm going to tell anybody who tries to tell me not to share them and threaten me with a fucking lawsuit to kiss my ass. Especially if it's, because where's the credibility there? So this is done by a forensic artist who is called upon by courts to testify all the time, right? Okay, so what are they doing it for? If not to share the information. What is the purpose of doing an age progression artist rendering of a missing person if it's not to be shared? What are you looking for then?
Cases, things that are considered legal evidence. That's her job.
Right. And that's a very good question of that girl. I don't know why. I know I have been saying for a long time that they needed to do an age progression on her, because I know from my kids, my grandkids, how much they change from kindergarten to first grade to second grade. Big changes happen. You can look if you have kids, look back at their school photos and you'll see the differences that happen. I don't know why.
I don't know why that happened.
Done that.
I'm wondering whether something is going to happen for the second anniversary of her disappearance, whether they'll try to push the case forward again and we might see it then. But the two answers that come to me when I say, why have they not done this? Neither of them are particularly optimistic. They're either that they don't want to spend the money, which, yeah, or that they don't believe they're looking for a live girl.
That's my fear. Hey, Lean on Me. Good to see you. Missed you.
I feel like they have to continue looking for a live girl until they have
I
solid
agree.
evidence that they're.
Okay. I'll tell you, these are the possibilities. One of those possibilities is, yes, they're not looking for a live girl. One of the possibilities as to why law enforcement isn't sharing this artist rendering is because either A, they're not looking for a live girl. Fair enough. I'm not there yet. But B, that the credibility of that artist is not something that law enforcement wants to get behind. That's the other conclusion that I would come to. So
That is not a path to pursue.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
agree.
you don't until, yeah, I don't know, but I am so thankful for Art for Life, the forensic artist that took the initiative and did these age progression drawings for us to be able to use and to show people and to remind you that if she is indeed out there alive, she's growing up. She's going to look different. Don't give up. Don't give up until there's no reason to. continue hope. But we don't have.
I agree.
We have not been given that yet.
If we don't see another push in the case at the 2-year mark, I will feel really concerned about the state of this investigation, because anniversary is the automatic time for these things to come out again. And if we don't see law enforcement taking that opportunity, I think that's really concerning. I mean, we're not there yet, but I expect them to do something.
Sorry, I'm catching up with chat here. Cal City Boys case, perfect example. No body, no DNA evidence. Yeah, and look what happened there. And it took them a year.
We've sort of been sucked into this sort of post-CSI situation where we believe that cases always have to have DNA and they always have to have a body, but that's not always been the case in the past. Circumstantial evidence was the majority of evidence in the past. I don't think they're going to find the Cal City Boys, which just breaks my heart, but I don't believe they're going to find them.
Yeah, I don't think so either. We have Nana for life in here. Sorry, I had to hop in the car emergency. Can't keep up with chat, but Nana for life. Interesting. So you are a part of the planning of Summer's Day. I tried to find where people are asking for money to attend, and I can't find anything. Can you confirm that this is a free event and nobody's making money off of this? I mean, because it's being implied, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I want to be clear about that too. I'm not implying in any way, shape, or form that people are making money per se off of this. That's not what I'm saying. I'm questioning as to how it benefits Finding Summer. I'm still waiting on an answer about that.
Okay, either way.
Would it be worth asking Nana for life if she wants to come and actually talk about it?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, she may not want to, but if you want to speak on it, Nana for life, you're very welcome to.
It's free and absolutely not taking money. I don't think so.
And I believe that Nana for life is actually a local, Tennessee local.
She is, I believe. Okay, hang on 1 second. Alright, that's for Nana for life.
There's a link for you, darling.
Well, supposedly that's not supposed to be taking place either, Blank Screen's life coach. Supposedly that's not even a thing.
Did everybody mute out, or just I lost
Yes,
sound?
I did mute out. I was pouring
Okay.
tea, and unfortunately, it always sounds like you're in the bathroom. So
When
don't
it goes
have
off-
that conversation.
When it goes all quiet like that, and then I don't talk because now I think that I have lost my connection or something, and I don't want to be talking over anybody, and it just is like this awkward, strange.
Motorbike, but it's just a lot easier for me to ride on a trike, and
Yeah, people don't realize how heavy they are to try to hold up a motorcycle. That's no easy feat.
well,
What the
he doesn't
fuck
have
are
any
you
problems
people
doing that, but
talking about?
I just have a lot of neck and back issues, and it's just harder for me to ride on a two-wheeler. So all I have to do is sit there on a trike. I don't have to lean. I don't have to do anything. So.
That girl said TJ Ryder?
Yeah, TJ Ryder. So we've been thinking about it for a couple of years, and so yeah, we just went out and did it today. So I love it.
Oh, I don't know who's doing it.
It's the flies.
Invaded the stream again.
It's the return of Disco Duck.
I think it was Lolita. I was trying to figure out who. I was like trying to watch to see where it was coming from so I could mute it while she gets it under control. I'm sorry for those with earbuds.
I'm sorry, I've been muted out. My dog is more than vocal today. No, you sound good now.
You're good
It wasn't even my
What
earbuds.
are they
It was
talking
the weirdest
about?
thing. And when I came back,
Oh my
iPhone,
God, I don't care.
phone, and I even
It's
Oh, hey,
out.
Elizabeth Lander,
No,
I'm
no,
seeing
Out
Charlie.
on you a little bit.
Jesus,
We sent you a
fuck.
message.
Come on.
of all the accusations going around. So when we get to hear, right from the
Lolita, darling, you're breaking up. I suppose the main thing that I wanted to ask you was to stress to people that you are actually a local. You're from Summers community, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I have been involved since day one. And I'm
Involved how?
was in attendance at the very first vigil, October the 15th,
The very
2021.
first
I
vigil.
also helped last year with Summer's Day 2022, and again this year for Summer's Day 2023.
Excellent. So you have great perspective on what's happening.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. Perspective.
2020 October the 15th.
Just a second there, Professor.
And I'm was in attendance at the very first vigil, October the 15th, 2021. I also helped last year with Summer's Day 2022, and again this year for Summer's Day 2023.
Excellent. So you have great perspective on what's happening.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
So before we get into talking about the planning that you're making for this coming Summer's Day, the one last year, as a local, did you feel that it really, you know, regardless of what people's opinions were of the rights and wrongs, did you feel that it sort of stirred up publicity in the local community that had begun to flag? Or did you see it as a positive, a negative? What were your thoughts on it?
Well, I personally felt that it was very positive. There is still to this day, a lot of people in our community that aren't even aware that summer's still missing.
Wow.
Which is mind-blowing to me. And I guess it's because I'm so heavily involved
right.
that it doesn't make sense. I mean, there's this precious little girl that's been missing for 23 months. How do you not know about her?
It seems strange to me. I'm in the middle of England, and
Yes,
Summer's case has been in national newspapers here. So that the thought that there are people in the local community who don't know that Summer is missing, it blows my mind a bit. But I take your word for it. I know that there's a need to push forward publicity all the time there.
Let's put it in some perspective of the general public, though. Many,
No, Amber.
you know, no longer subscribe to traditional television, right? They do a lot of streaming. So if they're not tuning in to local news and stuff, they're not getting it. We're really hyper aware of it because we're in this community, but maybe they're on YouTube. But if they're not in this area of
I was actually going to make that same point.
YouTube,
I agree with
they're
you
not
there.
hearing about it. The only way they're going to hear about it is honestly, like, you know, the flyers that are going out and people locally talking about it, nationally talking about it, because, you know, TV is different these days. We get our news differently, you know, through a internet timeline. Generally, most people don't take the newspaper anymore. So, you know, I think it requires a much larger effort to get awareness out about things like this. You know, the billboards are good, that sort of thing. And, you know, when you hear, maybe like you're scrolling through your timeline on your social media and you see that a child's gone missing, and you kind of look at the details and stuff. And if you don't keep hearing about it, you assume that they found the child, right? I think it's really important to make sure people know she hasn't been found yet. We're still
you don't
searching for her.
assume that.
It is important. And I really do appreciate you ladies giving us the opportunity to share the truth about Summer's Day, because unfortunately people like to twist it and make it into something it isn't. We didn't charge 1 penny last year. There's about 6 of us girls that paid for the entire cost. I personally spent close to $2,000 out of my own pocket, not to mention what the other girls spent. The donations came from our community. There was no raffle tickets sold. Everything was donated and given away. We had games for the children. You know, we try to pay attention to the detail, down to the font that Adrian used for everything. The name of it was Summer.
And this was the one that was at Warriors Path.
That's
Warriors
correct.
Path. The one with butterfly release.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. And we will be doing the butterfly release again this year.
That was
at
beautiful.
7:03. It was beautiful, even though I couldn't keep it together and I cried through the whole thing.
The reason I specifically mentioned that is because it was one of the things that Soup took part in. Soup, who's normally on the panel,
Yes,
can't be with us
I know
tonight.
Soup.
And she did, and of course she's local to the community, and she did tell us that as a local, she appreciated the way that everything was put together, and she said it was beautiful. And I just don't understand. I'd love to get your opinion on this. Why do you think there's such a negative perception around this? I don't understand really why people are so motivated against it.
I wish I knew the answer to that question, because
If I had $2,000 of my own money to spend on something in relation to this, okay, it would not go towards a dance party. You know what I mean? Like, I would not be doing that. The fuck was the point of that? You spent $2,000 on what? On what exactly? $2,000 of your own money. First of all, why are you number dropping? And second of all, where did that money go? Towards what? And how did it help find Summer? What did your $2,000 do to help find Summer? Like, right, exactly, Cherry. You spent $2,000 on what? Fucking a cake and glow sticks and a fucking barbecue? What? The fuck is that? No, there were 3 Haley Hopes. There were 3. Not 2, 3. And only one of them, in my opinion, was legitimate.
because I would do everything in my power to change that perception. I have my own personal opinion, and that probably is not very positive. That people that are saying ugly things are either jealous because they're not part of it. They don't want summer found. They don't want education. I mean, it's an educational event.
Right.
Trying to teach. I mean, we're going to even do things all the way back to babies and installing
I
car
can't
seats properly.
I can't get past the $2,000. I just can't get past the $2,000. You know? Like, how I realize a lot of people are going to be like, God, Claire, Will, you're such an asshole. You know, she spent $2,000 of her own money. I'm supposed to praise this person for taking 2 G's of her own money and flushing it down the fucking toilet. You know what I mean? Because if we're talking about summer, that's what that is. If we're talking about Summer Wells and you spent $2,000, you took that fucking money and flushed it down the toilet because it didn't do anything to create any more awareness, and it didn't do anything to help find summer. Neither one. As Cherry keeps saying, not what she just said, because it's true. But as she keeps saying, wouldn't it be more effective? I mean, it's been 2 years. The possibility that she's still local there is very slim. Okay? The possibility that Summer is still somewhere local is very slim. The power of us YouTubers being everywhere, because this is worldwide. I have somebody from fucking South Africa in my chat right now. You know what I mean? The power of YouTube is way more effective than simply showing up to a place where everybody already fucking knows that she's missing. Oh, but there's still, if you can believe it, there's still a couple people that don't know that she's missing. So that's your job. You spent $2,000 to make 1 or 2 people more aware over there. Why not organize something local? You know? I mean,
so you see this as sort of like a huge amount of general awareness on child safety generally, as well as remembering summer.
Yes, ma'am. And Summer's the reason we're doing it. She brought all of us together for a reason. And the best thing, in my opinion, that we can do for Summer is to keep her name and her face out there and bring awareness while educating parents, because a lot of new parents don't know everything. I didn't. I was a parent at 17.
See, that's what I keep hearing. I keep hearing that all the time, because that's the magic words. Those are the magic words. What we can do is to keep Summer's name and face out there, right? Okay, but what was the barbecue for? What are the glow sticks going to do? You know what I mean? What's the cake going to do? Like, I'm going to show up somewhere. I'm going to show up to this get together, and then I'm going to see Summer's name and face on a cake with a piece of it missing out because, people are sitting there. It's good to see you. Yeah, I love your channel too. Like, that's not... All of a sudden, I'm going to get a slice of that cake, and I'm going to be like, fuck, why didn't anybody say so? I can't, dude. I can't with this logic. They keep saying all we can do is put Summer's name and face out there, but you're doing more by doing that live stream. Just by the live stream right now that I am reviewing from this channel that I've never even fucking heard of is doing infinitely more than what showing up there and putting a get together would do. How do you not see that?
Yeah,
And
it's
so,
amazing, isn't it? You need a license to drive a car, and
yes, ma'am.
people will call you whether you've got all your preparation ready if you buy a puppy. But for some reason, children, people just expect you to know everything the minute you leave the hospital. Guidance is always a great thing. Coming back to something that you said, I think there is an element of some people wanting to keep ownership of Summer's case to themselves, particularly on YouTube. You know, so there's very little subgroups who all somehow think that Summer is theirs. I mean, infamously, we have the person who regards themselves as Summer's godparent, having never met her in this life. It's very strange. Also, one of the people speaking out against your event the most. I don't know where the perceptions come from that you are charging for this or making money in some way, because as far as I can see, all the money is going out over this, not coming in.
And you're exactly right. I promise you, no one pays for anything. It's for the community, and it's in Summer's honor. Yes, we want to have, when Summer comes home, there will be the biggest party Kingsport's ever seen. I promise you. And I have to check myself sometimes and say, I'm not her mom. I'm not her grandmother, but I do love her. And one day I hope Nana can take her to get an ice cream and to go to the park and to go. I can't wait to take her shopping because I do love to shop and do all the things that Nanas do with their children.
Wouldn't that be wonderful? I love the idea of that. I love the idea of that.
There's a great group of ladies. I apologize.
You're part of
for
her
speaking up.
community, which most of the people complaining on YouTube have never even set foot in the state, let alone the community. You are her people, you know, not her family, blood-wise, but you're her people, you're her community. And as you say, you've grown to have a deep love for her. And love often works like that. We don't necessarily have to know the people intimately that we love.
And family doesn't have to be blood.
Yeah.
Nope.
Can you guys hear me okay? I finally got 5G back.
Yes.
I was
Yeah,
trying
darling,
to,
yes.
Yeah, like
trying to
all,
point out
all
for
I'm hearing
in
is
chat. Hello, Jennifer.
justification.
Jennifer's all, you guys do not
All I'm hearing is justification for a party with Summer's name slapped all over it.
have YouTube account channels, rather, but you don't have
No, ma'am,
monetized.
never.
Right.
I do not
think
have a
point.
channel, nor will I ever. Jennifer doesn't have a channel. Chasing Truth / Tracy does have a channel. Adrian, formerly Chroma Mama, does have a channel. Gavel Geeks does have a channel. Telling Their Stories does have a channel. But Gemini Hippie doesn't have a channel. Most of us don't have YouTube channels, but we love
Right.
Summer. So we have come together
So
with the ladies that do have channels to help us get the word out. I
But
promise,
is it-
it's nothing to.
So I guess I don't love Summer because I'm not seeing how this is helpful towards her. So I guess I don't love Summer, you know. I mean, the truth be told, I don't feel personally invested in finding Summer because I don't know her. I don't feel a personal connection to her in some way in relation to her personality like I did with Gannon Stauch. And I understand that maybe some people do with Summer, but I'm not going to be villainized for criticizing this when I don't see any benefit towards her for this. And I'm not going to be made out to be somebody who doesn't care about Summer being found because I'm criticizing this.
And nefarious.
Right. This is where I think a lot of it's coming from. Letty, there were 3 separate vigils. Betty had one, and then you guys, and then who was the third? I don't remember. Was that
Miss Robin
was
had
the
the prayer
church.
vigil.
Miss Robin? Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Summers Cove. We call it Summers Cove because it's not a horse pond. So
Thank
we
you.
call that.
Thank you. That sounds so much better.
It does, doesn't it? It drives me insane as a local and also as a lake rat, as I stand here beside my Stingray. That's always on the lake. It drives me crazy for people to call it a horse pond. It is not a horse pond. It's a lake.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get a campaign to get that thing renamed.
Well, actually, we did propose that last year to Warriors Path, and it's a long legal process. So I'm not sure that will ever happen. But we have proposed to name that area Summers Cove.
Yeah. I mean, the locals can do what they want, can't they? It doesn't have to be official. You spread the word, it'll happen.
Well, that's true, but to officially do it, it's a lot of,
Yeah.
legal
Well,
stuff.
I'm sure it's not official as the horse pond either, right?
This
But
is
that
true.
caught on.
This is true. This
So
is
let's
true.
just catch on Summers Cove catch on, and the locals will take care
Yes.
of it.
Please spread the word. It's Summers Cove. But I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I know I'm a cynical fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. I understand that I am a cynical son of a bitch, man. I just am. I always have been. But I'm just not all I can do is picture this happening, and like I'm visualizing Summer's name on a banner hanging up, and then a shit ton of people hanging out and eating cake, and then talking about the same shit on here, the same shit that we're talking about here usually when we're discussing the case, which is, you know, what's Don and Candace's involvement? You know, should we be treating them like victims? Things of that nature. But I feel like that's only going to be maybe 15% of the conversation at best. Most of it's going to be, oh, well, where'd you travel from? Was the traffic okay? Or did you fly? Oh my God, how was your flight? Blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, I came all the way out here. And there's just a whole bunch of people blowing a whole bunch of sunshine up each other's asses about how they traveled all the way out there for summer. But what's being done for summer once you got there? You know what I mean? I don't, I'm just not, like I said, maybe I'm just being a cynical prick, but I don't fucking get it.
Anyone may have.
Like, don't tell me it's about awareness if you're all fucking already aware.
Is honestly to bring awareness to summer. In honor of summer, it's an event centered around the children and families from Summer's community.
As you don't have a channel yourself now,
wait a second.
whose channel do you?
But wait a second. Let me play that one more time.
And families from Summer's community. In honor of summer, it's an event centered around the children and families from Summer's community.
Centered around the children and family of Summer's community. That's already being done. That's already being done locally. That's already being done by the people who organize the vigil for, you know, for the church. Not this outside thing. Not this separate entity thing. That's already being done by the people in that community. And personally, I find it kind of shitty that if somebody is organizing something separate than that, who lives locally, why aren't you there just supporting the event that the community already put together? Why are you a local in that community and trying to create something else that's just centered around YouTube? Because make no mistake, it's centered around YouTube. It just is. If it's a shit ton of fucking YouTubers and people who who follow YouTube but don't have YouTube channels, as you stated, well, then it's still fucking centered around YouTube. It's not centered around Summer. You're just using Summer's name to attract people to come attend. It's just, I don't, what in the fuck are you talking about?
As you don't have a channel yourself, Nana, whose channel do you recommend on YouTube for people wanting to find information out about the vigil? Is there a person on YouTube that you're most working with that would be the best place to get first-hand information?
Yes, ma'am. And also, there is a Facebook page that's called Summer's Day 2023. So any information or questions you may have, you can go to Summer's Day page on Facebook.
See, let me address this comment here, because I'm not gonna agree with that totally, Darcy Miller. And I see where you're coming from. I don't think that they're deliberately trying to create YouTube drama. I don't think that that's what they're doing, but they have to know that that would be the risk. They have to know that that would be the only like effect that would take place. You know? That it has, I don't, I mean, you have to know that it's YouTube drama. And when I see people with panels like this, with 7 people on the panel, which I would imagine takes place on a regular basis on this channel. And I don't know enough about this channel, but I'm pretty safe. I feel safe in assuming that drama probably regularly takes place on that channel. When you see 7 people on a panel or a channel who has an open panel, they're probably engaged in drama to some degree, to some effect. I mean, it just is what it is. So, I mean, I don't think that they're deliberately causing drama, but if you think it through and you think your actions through, simply, hey, there's already a community. The best thing to do would be to support that community and their efforts. Not, hey, I'm part of this community, so I'm going to do something too. No, like there's already something. What kind of message does it send about the community if you're a local in that community and you create something separate from what's already happening within that community? What you're doing is you're creating a separate thing. You're creating the appearance that you're not at one and supportive of that community. You could say it all you want, but there's a difference between the action and the words. Because you could sit here all day and say, oh, well, I'm a local in this community and I'm just being supportive and putting Summer's name out there, but that's already being done, and it's already being done in a very respectful and organized fashion by the people who actually knew Summer, or I should say know Summer, and miss her. Why not just simply be supportive of that? Why do you have to have your own thing? Because that's what I think it's about. If you're going around and you're spending $2,000 of your own fucking money to do that, but you're not collecting any money, then you're just doing this to gain some sort of notoriety on YouTube. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I see happening. That's exactly what I'm saying, Darcy Miller. That's exactly my point. I'm in complete agreement with you.
Chasing Truth / Tracy, Gavel Geeks, Skilo, telling their stories with Audrey B.
Okay, I will get all those links together and I will make sure that they go in the information box for this live when we finish, so that all the details.
I actually can email you the flyer as well if you would like. It's beautiful.
That would be fantastic.
Beautiful little face.
We can get that on the community page.
What our email is.
Oh, it's circlejerk.2022@gmail.com.
I will send it to you as we speak, and you ladies can get that out there.
Yeah, that's
It's always where the dot is that I forget. That's the problem.
Do y'all know what a circle jerk is? I know Cherry does. Y'all know what a circle jerk is? Because I'm telling you right now, this channel is not based on creating awareness. You know what I mean? And I don't think, and I'm willing to assume that they don't really know what a circle jerk is either. What the true, what the true meaning of that, the original term of that is. And I'm sure it varies, there's, like a Cleveland steamer and a Chicago steamer both have different names, but they're the same thing. You know what I mean? Just depends on where you're from. All I'm saying is, okay, a circle jerk, as to my understanding, what I learned what a circle jerk was in elementary school, because it is that immature of a term, is a bunch of people getting together, a bunch of dudes getting together in a circle and jerking off. Literally masturbating. That's what a circle jerk is, to my understanding. So how am I supposed to take this channel seriously? If this channel is named fucking Circle Jerk. Why? Because it's got a bunch of women in it? All right. Sorry, that was sexist of me. Thank you, Cherry. Not just dudes. Margot, not this guy.
All I know is that it's a term that I learned like when I was like in elementary school. And I was like, what in the hell? You know, like Cherry said, an Alabama Hot Pocket. I don't know what that is, but I can imagine. Just saying. So a circle jerk, to my understanding, is exactly what it sounds like.
That would be great. I would love to put up information that people can actually go to YouTubers who are directly connected with you and get their information there, not secondhand from somebody who's got an opinion but isn't actually involved. I'm so grateful that you came up.
Can I ask, what is your ideal or your purpose for putting on Summer's Day every year? What do you hope to achieve from that, aside from awareness that Summer's missing still?
If we could get Summer's Day, which is at the beginning of summer, when children are out of school across the nation, as awareness and education for parents, as again, we're going back as young as, learning how to put a car seat in correctly, water safety, internet safety. We're going to talk about internet safety. What you should or should. I mean, there's so many, and I don't have the list in front of me or any of my notes. I typically don't go on panels because I prefer to stay behind the scenes. But ultimately, we would like for it to go across the nation to bring awareness.
You know what the best way to do that is? Use your YouTube channel that reaches everyone worldwide. Why do you have to go there to do that? Or why not simply liaise with the already organized vigil that's taking place in that community? Why not just say, hey, I'd like to contribute some time and some literature to creating awareness on safety and missing child safety and things of that nature? Why not? See, Rotten Ralph, that's not an excuse to me. She's on a panel right now. What do you mean? So she doesn't have a channel. She's on a panel right now. She's live streaming right now. Why? Start a channel. Start a channel. Or jump on a channel with somebody. I will give her a mic. I'd happily use my platform. If she has all of this really helpful information on safety that would help prevent a child going missing, please, if you have all of this information and literature that you'd like to share, I will absolutely be happy to give you a mic. I don't give a shit about how many views it generates. I don't care about that. I would happily do that. Exactly, Rotten Ralph. Exactly. I mean, you don't sit here and tell me that you can have this much more effective way of creating awareness nationwide, as you put it, without even having to leave the comfort of your home and spending very minimal amount of money, and then turn around and tell me that you're spending $2,000 of your own money to throw a fucking party where you could say and have just a few minutes where you discuss child safety. It makes no sense to me.
Awareness to everything that affects the children in this decade, because it's different. I'm almost 60 years old. When I was a little girl, we rode bicycles and came home when the street lights were on.
Yes. Yeah. Times have definitely changed. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to put out there what it actually is versus people calling it a party.
I so appreciate you allowing me to speak, because it's not about me. It's not about the ladies that are putting it together. It's about Summer and her community and bringing the awareness that attack our families today.
Yeah.
Channels that you mentioned that are monetized
again
live about Summer.
Again, that would be so much more effective with a YouTube channel. Way more effective.
Anymore. I haven't seen any in probably a year.
Your YouTube channel saying this. I don't understand how you're not putting this together.
Bam. I understand that. And I'm
okay. No, just making the point that's not like
Right.
somebody
And that's
who goes
that's
live
an
about
excellent
summer, you know,
point
like
too.
it's
That's
not
an
like
excellent point too. I mean, why just use Summer's name? Why just use Summer's name? You know what I mean? Like Summer's not the only missing kid out there. And you're nationwide. You want to create this nationwide awareness. You know? I mean, and the thing is like let's really break that down for a second. What are the circumstances of Summer's disappearance? The circumstances of Summer's disappearance is she was there 1 minute on her own property, and then she wasn't. To our knowledge, that is the circumstances of Summer's disappearance. So what are you going to educate us on? Keeping a closer eye on your kids? You know? I don't understand. And what I'm saying is when it pertains to Summer and you're using her name to do it, what are the circumstances surrounding her disappearance that pertain to you using her name and creating all of this awareness on child safety?
not like a prayer garden type of thing, you know, still using.
I can
to,
translate a
you
little
know.
bit because I know she keeps cutting out, but I think what she's saying is that even the monetized channels that you mentioned, they aren't going live now currently about Summer all the time, like some of these others that are actually
Right.
saying kind of bad
That's
things
what I
about
mean.
Summer's day, and are still trying to make money.
Right. I don't need you to throw a party to make me aware of car seat checks. You know? Dude, you know what happened to me? I remember my son was born in the year 2000. Okay? I had to get a car seat. Right? So I got a car seat. Didn't know what to do with it. But you know what I did? I read the instructions and then I was like, this is fucking Chinese to me. I saw how the thing was designed and I saw how the seatbelt in the car could keep the car seat secure. I used my common sense to keep my child safe. I used my common sense. Car seat buckled in safely to the car. Child buckled in safely to the car seat. Bing, bang, boom. We're riding, kid. Let's go. That was it. I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like you need to throw a party to let everybody know to keep a close eye on their kids? What?
Off of Summer's disappearance, whereas these other channels really aren't doing that, but they are still putting in the time and the effort to these efforts to bring awareness. I think that's what she's trying to say. I don't think she realizes she's cutting out about every other word or two.
And I think it's great, you know, that these ladies, even though they're not going live and discussing, they've never quit working behind the scenes. Never. I couldn't tell you how many flyers I personally have put out, how many phone calls I've made. I mean, it's just the
That's
list goes on
awesome.
and on. And we're all,
That's
you know, we've
great.
all just stuck together and tried our best to do in our heart what we felt was right for Summer and her family. No matter how you feel about the parents, at this point, they're still innocent.
Agreed.
Right. Until we know otherwise. I mean,
Agreed.
They do not have they have everybody's a suspect, but also they don't have anybody arrested yet. You know, they don't. I think everything has to be a possibility, but you just can't make up your mind and just run with that. You know, just because that's what I think happened. You know,
Yeah.
I don't.
And I'm not a private investigator. I'm a loan officer,
Me either.
so I don't know anything about all that. You know?
Right.
So Far be it from me to tell TBI and FBI how to do their job.
Right. Well, I think, look at the cases recently that have just boom, 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 that these juries have come back. It takes time.
It does.
It
And we
takes
have
time,
one
but-
chance to get it right, guys. One chance to get it right. And
Right.
Summer deserves our pay.
That's real, dude. That's what I'm saying. I didn't trust my ex to fucking hook that thing up, not because I didn't think that she cared about my child's safety. It's because I was like, nope. I'm double checking that shit. It's a team effort, making sure that this car seat is in there. It's not that I don't trust you, babe. Just got to make sure. That's all. It's a team effort. Okay. Second set of eyes. That's all it is. You don't take these chances with our child. You know what I mean? And you get all. It's just simple. Like, dude, I would check my kid when he was an infant and a toddler. I would check him habitually to see if he was breathing in his sleep, because I was like afraid of SIDS, because I felt like he was too good to be true. You know what I mean? Like, most parents are like this. Most parents, like, if you have a child and they're a toddler and they tend to wander, the second that they're not in your sight, you're like, fuck, where's my kid? Where's my kid? Hold on, shut up. Where's my kid? That's what every parent does. But sometimes shit happens. It doesn't mean you're a bad parent. Sometimes shit happens. Like, I don't understand. Here's my point is I don't understand what a party's going to do. What's the party going to do? What's the throwdown going to do to educate people on child safety? I don't get it.
Our patience, our intelligence, our integrity, our love, and our respect. Just to name a few. Summer deserves that. And when I stand before Summer, I'm going to be able to look at her and say, I personally did my best for you. Yes.
Oh, bless you, darling.
Oh my God.
It's understandable. This is something that's been living with you for coming up to 2 years. And as you say, you live in the community, and it's hard to control your emotions when you're so involved in the situation. One of the things I was dubious about is a comment in this chat here, which I kind of understand, but now you've made me think of it differently, which is Laura B saying the anniversary of Summer missing should not be a party atmosphere. Dancing, music, games, raffles is in poor taste, but that's just my opinion now. I'm not attacking Laura B. There's part of me that also thought that. But now, having spoken to Nana for Life, I can see the point that if you're actually trying to expand this into a community event where you talk about children's safety and you want children to be aware of things that can help their safety, you can't have a completely somber atmosphere.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You're looking for a live child. You're not mourning a dead one. And also, you want families to come and listen. So I do understand that now, and I must admit that was something that I was probably prejudiced against. So yeah, I'm really glad that you came and spoke about it, because that sort of changed my view on it as well. I'm speaking because I wanted to give you a moment to get yourself together.
I'm still waiting on my opinion to change on this. I'm still waiting for a valid reason. And I'm sorry, and I know I sound insensitive, and I can be very insensitive, and I understand that. But you breaking down and crying and saying, I just want to know that I did everything for Summer, that doesn't justify, that doesn't convince me that what you're doing is helpful to finding Summer. I'm still waiting on the logic behind it. And I'm sorry you feel bad. And I think it's great that you care as much as you do. But are you crying because you're getting criticized, or are you crying because you care so much about finding Summer? Because I could think of an infinite amount of things that $2,000 could have went to that would have been more effective in finding Summer. And if you just couldn't put that together yourself, that's understandable. But I'm happy to help. I'm putting that out there now. We could sit down. We can brainstorm together. If you got $2,000 to just blow, we could sit down together and figure out something that's more effective. Because I don't have that kind of money. But I'd be more than happy to sit down with this person who clearly cares and come up with some sort of solution that would make her $2,000 more effective in spending in helps to finding Summer, or even generating more awareness. You know, I don't.
Yes, I know I'm quite an emotional person, and it can be quite difficult to you want points that you want to make, and then emotion comes in, and with the best will in the world, but it's the fact that you're emotional. This is why you care so much, and anyone can hear that in the way that you've spoken about this, that you do care so much.
I do love that little girl.
Yeah.
And I've never, ever met her. But I sure do love her.
I think a lot of us, I can speak for all of us on Circle Jerk, we met because of that little girl that we never knew. We've all met each other, and that's, one of the things that Summer Wells has brought to me. But I think it's really important to think about.
Yes. Big shout out to all you mods. Thank you so much for what you're doing in this chat. I really appreciate it. And it means a lot to me that the chat appreciates it too. So thank you guys.
If your 7-year-old Summer Wells out there missing and you're alive, which you want everybody thinking about this as she's deceased and pointing fingers at her parents and her everything that's been done that's been crazy in this, or would you want to know that people are still out there looking for her and not giving up on looking for her, dancing and playing games or whatever it is that brings people to an event, that brings awareness, especially to the local community. If resources or information on resources is made available to them, so that it makes it a little bit easier to parent in this day and age. If people are happy and that brings them to an event and they get invigorated to continue on with this search for this little girl, I mean, I think it just needs to be put in perspective as to what it really is and what it isn't, but that little girl needs to be found. And that's the most important thing.
And I appreciate you saying all that, because that's how I feel. I mean,
I agree. This needs to be put into a perspective of what it really is and what it isn't. That's exactly what we're doing here right now.
It's about Summer. At the end of the day, it's about Summer.
Is it?
And I have to think, what would Summer be doing?
At the end of the day?
She would be at that lake playing. She would be dancing in the rain. She would be playing in mud puddles. She loved to fish. One of the last places she fished was at my daddy's house. My daddy's pond, not his house, but his pond. And people may not realize it, but Summer liked to gem mine. So last year, we set up little buckets and they had sand in them, and children could mine for gems. Every detail is about Summer. But have they talked about that?
And like Gavel Geeks, reminds the chat here, Summer danced. Summer liked to dance. We've all seen the little video of her dancing in the rain.
What?
Summer
Yes,
danced.
and she loved music. So why would you not have music and dancing? I don't understand people's mentality. I really don't.
Or should I say,
I promise you, this man will be dancing.
She does, and she dances.
Okay. So, because Summer liked to dance and play in the mud, let's throw a party, bring your kids, and have them sifting for gems in a sandbox and dancing and playing because Summer liked it. I don't. How does that help find Summer? How does it create awareness for missing children, other missing children, because there are millions? I don't get it.
Dances, because until we know otherwise, I assume that she dances and she still loves music.
She does, and it's about Summer. So if you don't like music and you don't like dancing and you don't like smiling and you don't enjoy having a good time, it's probably not the
Then
day
stay your
for you.
ass home.
Yeah, it's probably not.
Okay, if I didn't laugh at this, I'd get pissed off. Just so you guys are understanding why I'm laughing right now, because that fucking mentality right there is just mind-boggling to me. I like singing and dancing. What I don't like to do is use a missing child, because I don't know a kid who doesn't like to jump around, sing and dance, you know. But what I don't like to do is use the name of a missing child as an excuse to get a bunch of people together to fucking sing and dance. Again, how does it help Summer? See, you could dress it up all you want. You could sit there and be like, oh, well, you know, it's really positive. It's really positive. Get the fuck out of my face. No, it's bullshit. Just because it's positive doesn't mean that you're doing what you're doing for Summer. Because I promise you, unless Summer is, again, no longer with us, which I'm not ready to assume she is, but unless she's no longer with us, it doesn't do anything for her spirit. Let's just say that you're totally, you know, let's just say that you're a God-fearing Christian. But how, unless that child is dead and watching from heaven, I don't see how that helps her and does anything for her. Again, what that does is it implies that she's no longer with us. Because if, God forbid, because I hope that she's somewhere happy, right? I hope that that's the case. The chances of that are slim to none. And I mean like less than slim. You know what I mean? The chances that Summer is somewhere happy, you know, and chilling somewhere, unless that's the case, you know, like that doesn't do her any good, because God forbid that she's alive, but in the worst possible situation there. Do you think the thought of other people singing and dancing in her name is bringing her joy in some way? Do you think that that's what's going on? Because that's completely and totally asinine. God forbid that she's in that she's alive and in the worst possible scenario that there is. You know what I mean? God forbid. Because if she is, she's not sitting there going, man, I just really hope that people are singing and dancing and thinking about me. That's not what she's doing. She's thinking, get me the fuck out of here. Help. Help. So don't sit here and tell me that singing and dancing on one side of your mouth, that you have hope that Summer's alive and she's somewhere safe, or she's going to be found in some way, shape, or form. And in the other side of your mouth, you're hoping that she's seeing everybody singing and dancing in her name in celebration of her. It makes no fucking sense. It makes no fucking sense at all. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, what?
Not today for you.
Yeah, and I think Chris made a very good point, which was that there were 3 different visuals that all covered a very different type of emotion, and you could choose where you wanted to go. If you wanted something that was more spiritually based, you could go to the church's visual, and if you were interested in awareness for the legal aspect of saying to the law enforcement, we're here and we're watching, you could go down to the one near the law
At the police
enforcement
station.
offices.
Yeah, it was at the police station. Yeah.
So it's not as if you are claiming that you are the only way to celebrate Summer and you're the only way to raise awareness. You're just doing what you can for the community, and you want this little girl to be found. Hey,
listen, because I'm trying to be nice, because I don't know these people. Summer doesn't need you to celebrate her. Summer needs her. Summer needs to be found. And it's not within your abilities necessarily to find her. I'm not trying to put that responsibility on you. What I'm saying is it's fucking disrespectful. Either way you cut it, it's disrespectful. Summer is not sitting there hoping that people are celebrating her. Summer does not need to be celebrated. What the fuck are you talking about? Now, I understand. Now, when I had a buddy of mine, a really close friend, one of too many, who I lost way too early. He died, I think it was 2012 or 2013. I can't remember exactly. And it was an accident. He accidentally shot himself. But he was someone who celebrated life on a constant basis. And in order to honor him, we still attended a funeral. We went to the funeral home. We viewed his body. It was very respectful, but we organized a month later. All of us organized a celebration of his life because it's something that he would have wanted. It's something that we knew he would have wanted because he was a grown man. He was an adult. We hung out with this guy. This is someone who not only was you know, he was already going to be the person that he was going to be. He grew into that already. So we organized a celebration of his life because he was no longer with us. We partied in his name. One last party with Mike. That's how it went down, basically. You know, and if we all get together, if all of us happen to be in the same spot at one point, yeah, we'll drink a shot and a toast to him. You know, that sort of thing. But this is a missing child. What is there to fucking celebrate? She's not dead. No, and you know what's interesting about that? Now, I haven't reviewed Mallory talking about this, but what's really interesting about this, Mallory is calling it Summerfest, and it's really sick. Right. Mallory's trying to piss you people off. Mallory is the troll of all trolls. And like, she ended up becoming legitimized because she went up against MGL. Everyone saw through this until she went up against MGL. And then all of a sudden now, you know, I mean, to me, that's the same person that she was back then. I don't even pay her any fucking mind anymore. She's trying to piss people off. She doesn't give a fuck about missing people, and she's trying to piss people off. And if you fall for it, it's, you know what I mean? You people who are getting mad at her now are simply legitimizing her because of her shit with MGL. If you just break it down, pull away the layers, that's all it is. It's all it is. She's no different than she was before. I mean,
it seems very harsh that people are so quick to judge and condemn when I can tell that it's coming from your heart.
Well, and it is. And I've seen comments in the chat that, you know, as long as nobody, I promise you, we don't make money. Okay. I don't want to hear that. We don't. I don't have a channel.
I'm not accusing her of making money. I'm not accusing her of making money. I'm saying I'm trying to find the legitimacy behind it. Because even making money would be some sort of legitimacy. That's what, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it's okay to make money off of it. What I'm saying is that would be a reason that would make sense. But I'm not seeing a reason for doing this that makes any fucking sense. and I'm waiting for somebody to fucking convince me otherwise.
I spend out of my family's budget, not anybody else's pocketbook. So no one's making money.
Yeah, and that was what I was
what we
going
need
to
to
say too.
stress.
That's
The
what I was
intention
going to
goes a
say.
long way
and
with
that's-
me. And you can tell there's no like bad intent here, you know?
Yeah, that's the only negative I heard about
See,
any
that's
of the events
thing.
From last year was.
And I'm not. That's what I'm trying to say is I'm not seeing any ill intention here either. I'm just seeing weird fucking behavior that doesn't make sense. That's what I'm seeing.
You know, the balloon issue.
That wasn't our group.
No, I know.
No,
I know,
we
I
don't.
know
I
who it
just want to
was.
make sure everybody knew that.
Right. But that was the only incident and somebody getting left in a parking lot. That was the only incident. That was a couple people. That wasn't any of the groups, right?
Unfortunately,
it wasn't.
YouTubers bring their own sideshow with them, regardless
Right.
of what the plan is.
But,
And I would also like to say before I lose my train of thought, and I apologize if I interrupted anyone.
No, please carry on.
no, go ahead.
The Summer's Day will be
Yeah,
streamed.
see?
However,
I saw this shit happen with the Watts case too. You know? Like this is one of the problems with true crime, because a lot of people like this end up coming to, you know, coming out of the woodworks. Like it's a weird thing to be obsessed with. And that's why some might think how is it bad to be obsessed with a missing child? Because that's you want her found. Well, cool. You know, but this is the difference between obsession and taking a productive interest. When you start spending $2,000 of your own money to throw a party in Summer's name, that's a weird obsession. That's strange. When you're sitting here crying on a live stream going, oh my God, you know, I don't understand why people just don't see what we're doing and how great it is. Yet you're not explaining at all why it's productive, not giving one logical reason why it's productive, then it's an obsession. It's an obsession. There's no such thing as a good obsession. There's no such thing.
we will not allow people to take pictures and stream on their own.
Good.
There's children there. They deserve their privacy.
Okay, wait.
The streaming will be just on whomever is speaking or doing their demonstration at the time, and as well as the butterfly release. So don't think you're
I
going
think
to
that's
come
great. I think that's
and
great for the people.
stream.
Right. And you don't think that the creators who are streaming that are benefiting, even if it's not monetized. Like, there's no streaming allowed except I mean, come on. I mean, I don't want to hear that shit, dude. I don't want to hear that shit. The releasing of the butterflies. That's just content, dude. That's just fucking content. Just because a shit ton of people in your chat are sitting there typing hearts and saying summer in your chat, blowing up your chat with hearts and summer and butterflies, butterfly emojis. That's not doing anything to help Summer. That helps the creator streaming it. Even if it's not monetized, it helps the creator streaming it. Period.
And it also allows the people that cannot get there to be a part of it if that's what they want to do and see what's going on, and y'all taking control to make sure that it's done in an appropriate way and that, you know, children aren't being broadcast all over YouTube and whatnot. I think that's a great thing for.
And we
those
debated that, you know, should we stream it this year? Because some of the ladies got backlash last year from the stream, and
You know what? No matter what you guys do, there's going to be some naysayers. It's just the way it is. Jody Sue Brown isn't going to be happy about nothing, damn it. And it is what it is. But
for the record,
you're bringing Reese.
For the record, I want to make it abundantly clear. I don't give a fuck about Jody Sue Brown. I just want to be very clear about that. I don't know anything about Jody Sue Brown. I just know her name keeps coming up, but it keeps coming up in all the wrong places. It keeps coming up in places where the drama involving the Summer Wells case comes in. And I have no interest in that. I didn't tag Summer's name in this live stream. I didn't hashtag it. I didn't hashtag Dawn. I didn't hashtag Candace. I just put on my thumbnail Summer's Day in quotations, day in quotations, because is it really Summer's Day? On an elephant in a room, because this is the room, and the elephant in this room, meaning this channel, is what I'm addressing, because I wasn't even going to talk about it at first. But then I just keep seeing it get pushed and pushed and pushed, and I keep seeing more and more people talk about it, and then I keep seeing more and more people legitimize this as if it's something positive, and it's not. Just because it's coming from positive people, and because in their hearts, their intentions, they think it's positive, I don't believe that they're thinking it through. Because I don't see it. Again, there is a hypocrisy here, because there is no difference. I'm not going to sit up here and trash Bullhorn Betty for doing this without calling out somebody else for doing the same thing, whether I like the creator or not. Because at the end of the day, it's the same fucking thing. Sorry, but it's true.
Resources into a community that could really use the resources and the help and the education and whatnot. So, do what you do.
I wanted to pick up on what Gavelgeeks is saying here on the highlighted comment that Summer's Day is not a vigil. And I think this might be where some of the problem is arising.
That's the other justification.
They're seeing a vigil as a serious thing.
That's the other justification. It's not a vigil, people. It's not a vigil. Well, what is it? I mean, I know it's not a vigil. Don't get me wrong. I'm aware of the fact that it's not a vigil. I got that. What you haven't told us is exactly what the fuck it is. Because what the fuck it is sounds a lot like a meet and greet with Summer's name slapped all over it.
And then they're seeing you raising a community awareness and having a situation where families can come in, and they're seeing conflict there. People need to change their view. Summer's Day is a day of awareness for Summer and for the community. It is not what you would specifically call a vigil. And so your perceptions of what you think a vigil should be don't actually count, because that's not what it is. So you need to change your thinking.
That's a good thing. Drop the whole, everybody that's calling it a vigil, stop it, because there's a bunch of YouTubers out there that can't even say vigil anyway. So, getting rid of that is perfect. It's, there's visual and vigil. Blah, blah.
Please learn to pronounce it before you bitch about it.
It's Summer's Day, and it's a day of awareness, and it's not a vigil. So I will try to help spread that message. It's a wonderful day to include children, Liplock says. And it is, because they can take part in learning about protecting themselves and keeping themselves safe and what they can do to be safe.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm almost 60 years old, so it's raising children today is very different. I'm a first-time nana, and she's a lot of my life.
Right.
And her picture's not.
I'm not even sure if that's the right thing to put the money towards Perfect Fosters. I'm not even sure. What I'm saying is, I agree with you. It's better than fucking cake and games. You know what I mean? It's definitely a more logical idea than cake and games. You have $2,000 of money to spend. You couldn't spend that on some sort of advertising to put her name out there? That's a commercial spot. I mean, I don't know how much a commercial spot costs, but I guarantee it's not that much. You know, a local commercial spot where you live. You know what I mean? Cake and games. Get the fuck out of my face with that.
On social media.
Right.
It just terrifies me to think that because she is gorgeous, to think somebody could exploit my baby. And I won't do that to Summer.
Yeah.
You are doing it.
That's much appreciated.
And I mentioned to someone this week, our community needs to heal. Okay, we've lost 2 babies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Baby Evelyn. And now we don't know where Summer is. We have a chance to bring one of those babies back.
Well, and you also have the opportunity by spreading awareness to prevent another one from going missing. You know, they can't
Jennifer
come
said
in.
this may save a child, and if it saves one
That's
child,
right.
who cares what any of
Spread awareness where? You just said yourself you don't have a YouTube channel. Right? Spread awareness where? Where it's already spread? Spread awareness where? Completely agree, Cherry.
any of the naysayers had.
That's exactly what we said as a group. If we can save one child, one mama, one daddy, one family for going through what Summer and her family have gone through, I will stand and take the shots all day long, day. Shoot at me.
Right. And like that girl mentions here, education and prevention. And you know, I want to hope that you are offering resources, you know, educational resources to parents that sort of maybe need support. And I don't just mean financially, but sometimes like just like knowing what to do. So some of them are very young parents with not the best coping techniques and that sort of thing. And I just think that's a big part of preventing children from disappearing.
And we are. And again, I don't have my notes in front of me, but I just noticed that a couple of the other ladies have come in chat that are much better at public speaking than I am because I'm a crybaby.
No, that's okay though, because you know what? When people hear your emotions, they know that what you're saying is coming from your heart, your soul.
Yeah, absolutely.
You absolutely believe. You're not up here just filling them with.
And you can always come back
bullshit.
with your notes or with somebody else. This doesn't have to be a
Yes.
one shot. What I love is seeing Buttercup now in the comments saying, "Now I feel better knowing it isn't a vigil." And if we can just change a handful of people's perceptions with you talking, and they talk to other people when they see it brought up, then this is worthwhile. Because
I love that. Somebody in that chat was like, "Oh, it's not a vigil? Oh, cool. Well then." I love the way these people think sometimes, man. It kills me. Oh, well, that's cool. It's not a vigil. Got it. It's just a party. Okay, cool. See you there. Huh? What?
word of mouth is going to be the way forward. We don't want people just to. The people who have got complaints always seem to be the loudest. So if we can get people discussing it in a different way, then it's worth it just for that.
Yes, and you know, and we're doing good things for the community too. Last year, we actually planted a native plant at the park for Summer, and she loved to play at that park and on that playground.
Yeah, let's talk about the positives that are happening out of it, and you know, the fact that it's helping to bring us closer to answers for Summer. The awareness being spread is important.
I just saw Gavel's some of the topics: internet safety, TBI, kid packets, volunteering for CASA, water safety, bullying, children's mental health, and a lot more. We're open to any suggestions as well.
No, see,
I apologize again for crying. I'm just a big crybaby.
Absolutely amazing. That's fun.
And I don't think it's a drinking party. You know what I mean? People are bringing their kids. You know, like why are you bringing your kids to this thing? You know, it's so weird. It's so weird. How are you explaining this to your kids? Like when you're bringing your kids to this thing, how are you explaining this thing out to them? I'd love to know that. I'd love to know what the explanation to your kid is. You know, well, where are we going? Oh, we're going to an awareness event for a missing child. Well, are they going to have cake and games? Yeah. Oh, okay. Because, you know, the kid is there to learn about the dangers of going missing, right? The kid is there to learn the dangers of going missing with, you know, pin the tail on the donkey. I got it. Thank you. Good to know. But no, I they're bringing kids. I don't think that they're it's going to be a drinking thing. You know, so I don't want to contribute to that being, you know, one of the rumors. I'm just not, I don't understand. What are you bringing your kids to if it's not a fucking party? What's the kid going to get out of that? What's your kid going to get out of that? Exactly. Good point. Like, if you're bringing kids to this thing, you're watching way too much fucking YouTube, and you're watching the wrong shit on YouTube. Seriously. Like, that's just bizarre.
Phenomenal list of
My
things.
my only suggestion in there that I feel is like really important is resources for parents to be able to go when they're at wit's end.
And thank you for mentioning that, because we found out as we were doing research that the closest, I think it's called Angel Box, is Knoxville. That's 100
Is that where
miles
they
away.
can? Is that where they can drop newborns?
Yes, ma'am. So we are working with them to have them put in each county: Sullivan, Hawkins.
See, that's
Greene,
great.
and
I
Washington.
love that.
Those boxes
I
save lives.
absolutely
Those
love
boxes
that.
save lives, guys. It's about the babies. Get out of your feelings. It's not
Okay.
about you.
And I believe that
Okay. Again, what does that have to do with a party? Why are you telling us to get out of our feelings about you using Summer's name to throw a party and then bringing that up? Because that's a separate thing. And if you're doing that, fucking right on. That's awesome. That is awesome that you're doing that. If you're working to bring, exactly, Amy, completely different thing, completely unrelated. Like, go to the town meeting, because having kids there, you know, sifting through sand for gems and dancing and playing in mud because you think it's cute and it makes you cry because it makes you think of summer, to watch your kids doing that is fucking weird. First of all. Second of all, why not just take the information? If you're trying to work with other counties, and that county where Summer went missing, that county where you're having this particular, why not just attend a town meeting and just organize something that is professional, that's tasteful, go through the proper channels, because you don't need a party to fucking do it. And if it's a question of money, then yes, hold a fundraiser. That's great. If it's a question of money as to why they don't have these things in that county, sure, organize a fundraiser for it. That's a great thing to hold a fundraiser for. It's fantastic. It's amazing. To have these what do you call it, for the kids, for people who are tempted to kill and or abandon their kids. If you have something in that county that's an alternative to that for parents to have, that's great. That should be everywhere. Exactly, Solo. That's what I'm saying. Donate the $2,000 to the drop-off boxes to be a thing in your county. Like I said, if it's a question of money, you know, I mean, Dude, if I felt that strongly about it and I had $2,000, I would fucking be like, dude, you know what? On the down low, I'll take that fucking $2,000 and put it towards a bribe. You know what I mean? I'm a realist. I understand how shit works. You know, I'll put that shit towards a bribe, to bribe an official to make sure that that shit is in that county.
In many cases, children that are given up in these situations, actually with a few days and some help, the mums and the children are fairly often reunited. It's that breathing space so that something desperate does not happen. You know, when these poor young women are in a panic and they end up doing terrible things, if they'd have had breathing space to come to terms with what's going on.
And parenting is
Both they
tough
and the
when you
child.
have everything you need. When you have everything, parenting is tough. So what about those poor little mamas like I was at 17? You know, young, I was 1,000 miles away from home. I lived in Fort Worth, Texas, and had a baby by myself. I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, I was 2 weeks short of being 30 when I had my first live birth, and I was in a long and happy relationship, and it was still tough, you know, because it is having a newborn and finding your way is, with all the love and the financial resources in the world, it's a hell of a wake-up call. It's a complete life changer. I can't imagine what it would be like to be younger and on your own. I just can't. I take my hat off to the people who make it work, because it's not an easy road.
No, it is. If it was easy, everybody would be perfecting children.
Right.
Perfecting children.
I hope that helps and answers or clears up some misconceptions.
It doesn't at all. Not even a little bit. It does not. What it does is it validates what you're trying to project your intentions being. That's all it does. It validates your character to some degree, but it does not validate why you're using Summer's name to throw a party. Still waiting on that, by the way. Still haven't heard nothing. Still waiting on that.
Because the last thing we need is additional misinformation, because we tried to stay away from that. But I promise you, the group of girls that is doing this love Summer. It's a pure heart, and we want to educate the community and possibly prevent one baby, one mama, one daddy, one family from going through what Summer and her family has gone through.
I assume you're going to handle that comment there, Pearl?
I was waiting until our guest had left, but I can come back to it. It's not a problem for me.
Go ahead, Pearl, get them.
Well, first of all, I'm actually very well acquainted with Dick. Long-standing happy relationship, very cock-friendly, don't have a problem with it. Also, fairly well informed.
Okay. Stacey Price says there's allegedly two separate events, one on the 15th and the other on the 16th. For those of you just joining me, I'll say it again. Only one of those events should be happening, and that event should be supported by anyone else. Period. That's it. And that is the local community, Summer's local church community, that did it last year and is doing it again this year. That is the only event that should be supported. Period. That's it. Anything outside of that is purely selfish, and for selfish reasons. I don't give a fuck how much you dress it up. I felt the same way last year about it. I feel the same way this year about it.
About the situation in America far more than most of the people who have an opinion on what the situation is in the UK. Georgia, you're very welcome to your opinion. It's nice to see you in the chat. I know where you usually lurk, so I'm not surprised you have a negative opinion of me, to which you are very welcome, because in order to be offended by your opinion, I have to have some respect for it, and that's not the case here. But carry on.
Stars,
right, that's all the
sell her the
attention she
door. Stars,
When you come out of time.
Yeah, you think that the locals there are supportive of that? Think the locals there are like, oh man, that's so nice that YouTubers are throwing they're coming to our town and throwing a party, you know, and slapping Summer's name all over it. You think that's that's just great. We love that. No, they're going to be Christian about it. And they're going to say, you know what? Let them do what they're going to do, you know, and they're welcome to join us as long as they're respectful and they don't stream it. And they understand what this is all about.
time out. Have a little more respect for the queen.
God, I love you, Pearl.
We all love Pearl.
It's such a lovely thing to say. I'm glad
It's
to
so
hear you
ridiculous
laughing.
what some people say. It's just like, are you kidding me right now?
I just let them have their opinion. Seriously, I have to respect someone's opinion for it to hurt me, and that is just not the case with the
Bullshit.
vast majority of people who express an opinion about me. More importantly, I'm glad to hear you.
Bullshit. It is being streamed. I just heard them admit that they're streaming it. That they're streaming the topics of child safety and the butterflies being released. They are streaming it. So I don't want to hear that. They are streaming it.
Yeah, you laugh.
And it doesn't matter if it's being streamed or not. Why are they doing it? I still haven't heard a legitimate reason as to why they're doing it.
It made you laugh that it was worth
It
it.
did, and I needed that because I was getting way too emotional. Because
And it's
to me,
understandable.
I am Summer's Nana, and I love her with my whole heart. I mean, she couldn't have been born a blood grandchild, and I love her anymore.
And the love pouring out of what you say is the thing that is really sticking with me. If you listen back to this, at the start of this conversation, my standpoint was, I don't know, I'm sort of ambivalent about it, because I was thinking of it as a vigil. And as you say, that's not what it's about. So I did have ambivalent feelings about it, but I genuinely believe anything that brings Summer's name up and raises awareness in the community has got to be overall a positive. And now hearing all the different things that you're doing, the time and the effort that is being spent here to try and help local parents, it's phenomenal. I'm just so glad that we actually talked about this and that you came up, because my perception was completely wrong.
And again, I thank you. And I don't go on panels and speak often. It's just not
We
my thing.
appreciate you doing it for us today.
Because
We really do.
I am not politically correct. And I tell the girls all the time, tell them to off and don't give them air. They are not doing anything for Summer, but they're throwing stones at everything we do. Who cares? I know who I am. I will stand before God by myself. No one's going to stand with me. And I promise you, when I stand before Summer, I can say with a clear heart, I personally did my best for you, baby girl.
There you go.
And if you don't like that, kiss my ass.
I have a suggestion also too that you might check with resources. If you all check with like the domestic violence,
I think that's important.
The shelters, the ladies there, they have some wonderful resources there for women and children. Especially, they have a lot. They do a lot for children. And you might even get a representative to come and set up there to give out information. But they're a wonderful bunch of people, and I know that you could probably get some really good resource information from them.
Thank you for that suggestion. And we certainly will look into it.
Yeah,
they're
really.
We don't have
good
all
bunch.
the answers, guys. We don't. If we had the answers, Summer would be home.
Right.
So any great ideas you have, please share them. Did you guys get the email that I sent?
I don't know yet. I don't think Lolita's sitting in her office right now, but she will check it.
We'll check it. We'll make sure that it gets put up before the end of the program.
Right. If
that
we
might
don't
be a
get it,
problem.
we will reach out. Don't worry.
I
Yeah,
love,
and of course, like I said,
I love that they're coming off like the authority on finding Summer, the authority on spreading awareness and findings. These you're not. Okay. Here's what you can do to help find Summer. You can share this information that you're doing. You can do it locally where you live. Okay. Use YouTube as because that stream that she's doing right now is way more effective than her throwing a fucking party. You know, I mean, it just is. So, I mean, what you can do to find Summer, the best thing that you can do is let the cops do their job. It's still an open case. The cops have not given up on finding Summer. But perpetuating this fucking circus, it doesn't help find Summer at all. It actually hinders law enforcement's efforts. It just does. And they've made this clear. They've said it.
this doesn't have to be a once and for all thing. It's going to be great if you want to come back and you've got more information. That's fantastic. I wanted to pick up on what TJ said about domestic violence. I think that something that sadly is we've come to know is the situation around Summer, regardless of whether that was involved in a disappearance, that's not significant. But the situation around Summer was difficult. And we see it in lots of cases that quite often a child will go missing, or a child is hurt, or even a child runs away because the situation in the home is difficult. And so I think that if that anyone can come forward who has connections with or knowledge about the domestic violence situation and situations that can help, that would be fantastic, because children bloom where they grow. And
yeah,
if they're smothered in that situation, then they don't bloom. The family situation is everything.
It's
right.
it's
And
very
often they're
important.
stuck in situations because people don't really know how to get out of it safely and that sort of thing. So I think that prevention, like y'all are trying to do with all this awareness, is really key. So if we can really get information out there, like you guys are trying to do, that really supports families. And if the family can't stay together, how can they safely separate? Because we've
Yeah.
seen all of these issues, as well as substance abuse and what are the resources
And I wanted
available for that.
to track back to that and say that I know of brilliant parents who have raised wonderful children who have escaped from domestic violence situations. It doesn't mean that it's a failure of parenting. It doesn't mean that everything is always destined to go wrong. It means there's a difficult situation that in some way or another needs to be solved. And quite often that means separating and keeping the person safe so that they can raise the child on their own. And they do brilliantly. I don't want anyone to think that I'm condemning anybody who's come out of a domestic violence situation, because there are seriously some amazing parents who've escaped domestic violence and raised wonderful children.
They escape.
All right. Okay. Yeah, the phone number's still up. I'm making another pot of coffee, so if anybody wants to get into it and talk, we could talk. Phone number's still up. I'm taking calls again. So yeah, like I'm just trying to find the connection, I'm trying to find the right. Stay away from the fuck shit. Agreed. Kate, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's they're just trying to convince themselves that what they're doing is helpful. And it's not. It's not. I just don't see how it is. I mean, you could sit here all day, and then say it's about summer, it's about summer, it's about summer. But how is that about summer? How? No, and I know some of these people genuinely care. I'm not accusing any of these people of being, shitty and self-serving necessarily. But at the same time, like the lady that was just talking here that says that she's from that area, that she's, I mean, I get that you spent $2,000, but what did you spend $2,000 on? Like, think about what you spent $2,000 on. You know what I mean? Okay. Now, ironically, this person is that person we were just speaking and listening to is on Queen Bee's panel right now. And I'm debating on streaming it because I'm not trying to pick at Queen Bee either. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm curious as to what her justification is on that panel. Okay. So she just said that she lost 3 kids herself, and I can't imagine that pain. So I understand there's definitely some sort of trauma there that is probably contributing to her actions as far as this goes. And I understand that, and I feel bad. I do, but again, I need some sort of logical justification to get behind what that's not a logical explanation or justification for any of this, in my opinion. And again, it doesn't make her a bad person. I'm not saying that, but see, I'm really tempted to do that. True crime. True crime dime. I'm really tempted to. I'm really tempted to end this live and head over there and ask these same legitimate questions. But I really don't want to come off like I'm going there to start shit, because I'm not. I genuinely want to understand. And I know I'll get trampled. I know it. But I'm well, see, you're saying come on, troll, but if I go over there, it's not with the intention of trolling. You know what I mean? It is not with the intention of trolling, but I legitimately want to understand. And see, I'm not looking for a shit show. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm afraid of. The only reason that I'm afraid to go, I've never been afraid to go on anybody's panel, especially when I feel strongly about something. But I know that this woman is hurting, and she lost children of her own, and I don't want to come off like I'm attacking her. I want to understand. So I'm very wary of going over there and then people being like, because I know people in Queen Bee's crew that just think that I'm just going over there to start shit and be an asshole, and I'm honestly not. I want to genuinely understand. Well, I don't need anybody to stand up for me either. You know, like I legit feel how I feel. I wouldn't be going live about it if I didn't. You know what I mean? All right. All right. See, yeah, like okay. All right, this is what I'm going to do because I have an opportunity. I'm sitting here thinking about it. And I want it said here, and I'm going to leave this live stream up so they could go back and review it if they want to. I'm going to end this stream and I'm going to jump on that panel and I'm going to ask respectful questions and try to get the answers that I was trying to get by starting this stream. It would be illogical of me to not do that because I have an opportunity by joining that panel to get at least the understanding that I'm looking for. Okay? So if people tend to look at it like I'm attacking, that's fine, whatever. But I'm going to head over to Queen Bee's panel. And I'm going to share my perspective, and if I could be re-educated on it, great. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. Head on over to Queen Bee's if you want to, and I'm going to jump on that panel if she lets me on, and I'm going to ask legit questions. Okay? And hopefully I'm proven wrong, because I really like this lady. I think she's a sweet lady. I don't think that she's really thinking it through. That's just my opinion. So we'll see. All right, guys. I love you. I'll see you over there. We will do this again very soon, my friends.